my.
Oh, no.
Well, the YouTube video is going to be a little short, but oh well.
All right, Bob, play the music.
There we go.
Welcome
I guess we might just say it. Hey, welcome to Schnozzcast, episode 68 for Friday, April 10th, 2020. I'm Nick. That's Bob. That's Cory. That's Danielle. Here we go.
You're Nick?
Sure. We're both wearing plaid. No one could tell.
Well, there we go. We'll start off the YouTube video like that. That works. Yeah. We're live on Zoom and all that good stuff on Facebook. So.
All right, yeah. So virus bad, but there's still some good news. People are putting on free shows, and we did some housekeeping. Things are going well. We're sounding good, looking better. You guys ready for a shot?
Oh, sure.
I have nothing. I will abstain from the Schnozzcast shots tonight. I do work tomorrow, so.
Yep, that's fair.
But I'll grab a beer.
You do that. Danielle, where's your Dwight Schrute pillow? Yeah, there you go. Can you make that into your wallpaper behind the Zoom background?
I don't think so.
I'm sure I could.
There's got to be a picture.
Did I show you how you just do that and it changes?
No, but I don't know why you would, because then you can't see the glorious.
But then you come back.
All right, let's go.
Wow, that is a fancy pillow. What did that cost you? Like $50?
$5.
There's a 5 in there somewhere.
I believe it.
Officepillows.com?
No, it was on Amazon.
Wow, they sell everything.
They do.
You must have got that before all the toilet paper went out.
Yeah. I'm right behind Cory.
Have you thought about getting a who's the guy who has the shady background on the show? He was potentially on the run to the law. Creed. Can you talk about a Creed pillow right next to it?
I haven't seen that.
No? Dwight's the only one you can get?
It's the only one I saw. Because it's that one group I told Nick and Cory about that they joined. That these people that post like all the Amazon deals. It was a deal on Amazon. It's just like the cover. It's normally like $25, but there was a promo for it for $5. And then I just had to order a pillow, which was like $10.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, Cory, how are there's like a watch party and the live? Like, what's the difference between that for people that don't know?
The watch party, like, it just invites people to basically come watch it. You're kind of like sharing the video.
So, how do I share the live?
That's a good question.
Oh God.
Can you just share it from?
You should just be able to share it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I press share, and it says watch party, and then I try to write post, and it says Schnozzcast podcast, and it shows the live. But then when like right now, we got Jason Thomas and my brother and everyone commenting on the watch party, but not in the room.
Oh.
Well, then the watch party must be a different way to view it.
Right.
Okay. Anyhow, moving right along.
Oh, we can keep Googling that. Nothing.
No.
Did you get your beer?
I have a beer.
Yep. All right.
You got it. Oh, I gotta grab the Fireball.
Oh, there you go. That's much better.
You like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Once you get out of the way, it'll be just Danielle and Dwight, as it was always meant to be.
Bob, do you have any kind of news story maybe we could talk about while Cory's Googling things?
Let me check. I saved a couple things.
As entertaining as all of us changing our backgrounds and laughing at each other is.
Right. Well, we do that all the time anyway.
Yep. Not when we're doing a podcast, though.
Did you guys hear about apparently there's like a nationwide surplus of wings?
No.
Simply because there was no March Madness this year. Places like B-Dubs and every place that sells wings, now wings are dirt cheap.
Oh, they probably ordered so much of it too.
They did. And then all of a sudden, no March Madness. Like
right.
literally probably 3 or 4 days before the tournament started.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that. Did you hear that?
What's that?
There's an abundance of chicken wings.
That makes sense. Why wouldn't there be?
Yeah. So going down to Detroit Wing Company downriver, you probably get some really cheap wings.
We talking pennies on the dollar?
But gotta be at least half price, at least. I mean, there's so many wings left. They don't know what to do with them. They're throwing them away.
That's a shame.
It's a dirty shame. And there's a ton of food that they're throwing away just because of the supply chains have either dried up or are so sporadic that they can't get the food to the stores in a timely manner.
Hey. Sorry, yelling at the dog.
Hey, supply chains, get your shit together.
Well, maybe we should look into ordering a shit ton of chicken wings.
That's what I'm doing this weekend. That's for sure.
Are you really?
Oh yeah, I'll go down to Detroit Wing Company. I haven't had them for a while.
Did you ever get your butcher box?
I did not.
We had wings the other night from there.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
I think the first step for me would probably be to get a freezer of some kind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have
Even
that.
if it's like
I
a
have
travel.
I
Go
have
ahead.
like a small like chest freezer, which is actually stocked full right now of frozen food. So
Yeah, I think I apart from looking at furniture the other night, Joe and I were also looking at freezers. And I don't know what you paid for yours, but
it was like $200.
ooh, that's way cheaper than any that I saw. All right, I'll have to get together with you offline and figure out where you looked and what brand you got.
Yep.
I think that's the first step.
I can tell you where she looked. Come on, you guys should be able to guess that quite easily.
It's not from Amazon.
No,
Oh.
Etsy?
the old Costco.
No, it's not from Costco.
God damn
No,
it.
it's not from Costco.
It's not.
Look how happy she is that you're wrong.
I know.
Makes me smile.
First time that's ever happened, I think.
Because it's usually he's always right. So when I'm actually right, it makes me feel good.
What sort of brainwashing is going on over at that house? Because
Seriously,
I'm sure that Nick and I can give you many examples where he's absolutely wrong.
I almost fell into the stove when I heard that. Come back to the table so quickly.
I was gonna say you got up and came right back. That was
Yeah,
great.
you got to make a pizza, and then you decided, nope, forget that. I need to get right back to the table and
Shut
debunk
that down.
Yeah.
Well, Bob, ready for a shot?
No, but I will be. 1 sec.
So I see you got the watch party thing figured out. Oh, yep, there's everyone.
Well, I tagged them in the actual live, so I don't understand how to actually share the regular live. I tried to, but I thought, you know what, just tag them in the room, so they'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, they got it figured out. You got your brother and Jason in the room. Jason, what's going on with Ray's, buddy? As you can see, Jason, you're welcome.
He did say on the watch party that he misses his schnipples.
The old Schnozzcast. Oh, hey man, you guys doing that Schnozzcast still?
Right? He goes, I miss my schnips.
Oh my goodness.
I keep getting text from Crabby because tonight they're doing a Zoom session for all the March Madness guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Nick Zaleski reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, do you have a prepaid Zoom account?" I go, "Yeah, I do, but I'm not going to be there because we're doing the podcast at around the same time." So now I'm getting texts from Crabby going, "You need to get us on the Schnozzcast." And I'm like, "Dude, there's probably like 7 guys,
Listen,
all talking sports, which is really just going to send Nick over through the roof." So
tell Crabby that we can do it like a couple at a time.
I don't know if that's going to fly. What I probably say is once he's done with his, he's welcome to jump over here.
I don't know if we need a bunch of pissed off people that aren't watching sports lovers yelling and screaming over us.
Oh, I would say, speaking of Crabby, he just joined the room.
I tagged him.
Why is he not on his own? They're doing their own thing right now.
I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be there.
All right, so I'm hitting the old apple pie.
All right. Well,
I looked on my porch when I woke up. I thought that sob story of the fact that I didn't have anything to do shots with, and I was out of apple pie. I thought maybe that, one of my buddies was going to drop one off on my porch because they had a surplus. But all I saw was wind and dust, and I shut the door.
I assume you were thinking about your one buddy who didn't have to work today.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, when do you really have to work, Bob?
Me? I was up at 8. I had a meeting at 9. Been working all day.
Did some 10 a.m. vinyl?
No vinyl today.
It's Friday.
Actual work all the way up until 5.
I was going to say vinyl is for Saturdays and Sundays, sir.
Really just been Saturdays, actually. Not even Sunday. All right. I'm going to get my little, I can't even see the.
Oh, you're not even doing a shot, Bob.
Ooh. All right. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Ooh, yeah.
Crunchy.
That did not look appetizing whatsoever.
No, it's just it is at peak strength right now.
That's wonderful.
Crunchy.
Who's the Asian woman peeking in on you?
Woo! That's my Blade Runner background, sir. I'm like, what movies can I get an Asian woman sitting in the background for? Blade Runner.
I was going to say, there's plenty of those movies out there.
That's on the other laptop.
Right. This is that's the work laptop.
Oh, good. That's good to know you keep all that on the work laptop.
Oh, yeah. It's just her face. I know what I wanted to go through today.
Uh-oh.
I got some inspiration. I won't say where, but I'm like, that could absolutely fucking apply. And that is the creation of the Schnozzcast drinking game.
Oh
boy.
Follow me on this, but I'm sure that each one of us has certain tics, let's just say, that when they happen, you'd make a list that says, oh, when Cory bites on his nails, take a drink.
I don't ever bite on my nails.
You were just biting in here.
He's just touching his face.
I'm just playing with my beard.
Just caressing his mane.
Yeah. When Cory refers to himself as some sort of a beast, like a stallion or a slug.
That would be a good one.
Take 2 drinks.
No, because Cory would just start doing it on purpose. Unless Cory was the one that had to drink.
Well, so that's what I'm interested in. That's what I'm interested in going around the room and saying, what would our drinking game look like? If you had to make a sort of a master list and the rules for the game, what would those rules look like?
I just want to know, did you get this from my observations of Joe asking for a question every time he has a question and thinking that maybe we...
No, but that's the first thing that came into my mind that would super apply to the drinking game.
When Joe says, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, can I just say something here real quick?
Oh, and that.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Exactly. What else? Obviously, when Joe shits on anyone else's, so someone would have to tell a story, and he'd have to shit all over it.
So if we'd have to cut out a lot of those rules, because otherwise people would just be hammered in a matter of 30 seconds.
Some would argue that's the point of the drinking game.
Well, I mean, I guess we could go with that.
I mean, no one plays a drinking game so that they drink very little.
Yeah, but you kind of want the game to last a little bit, not a matter of 20 seconds.
Well, we have good days and bad days. If you applied those rules, the cool part is this: this is episode 68. So we've got 60 some episodes. You can go back and listen to it. Apply that without us knowing that there was even such a game when we recorded it, and see what happens.
I mean, I guess it's worth a shot, right?
Yeah. So Danielle, what would your Cory rules be for the drinking game?
Really, Cory, it's worth a shot. Come on.
For like something that I do?
Oh, for like Cory does.
Oh.
If you had to write rules like when Cory does X, take a drink. When Cory does Y, slam your beer. When he was?
He does that laugh.
What's that laugh, Bob?
Oh. That's the one. Beard stroking. Beard stroking would have to be a take 2 sips. What else?
Every time he puts a chew in.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
What kind of weight would you apply to the chew? Would that be drink half your beer?
I don't think the chew really puts any weight on him. I think he just likes to do it.
No. I got it. What's the penalty for? Obviously, he does that fairly regular. How many chews would you say you go through in a 2-hour podcast, Cory? How many dips do you put in?
Maybe like 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay. So that'd be a good slam your beer kind of a event.
Yeah, that
Lippers and dippers, buddies.
That'd definitely be more than just a single shot.
Okay.
Yeah, but I still can't understand the part of who's the one that's drinking, because either way, Cory would have to be punished by it. Cory would have
punished by it.
First of all, he'd be like, "Oh, I can't do a shot right now."
Well, that's another occurrence. If everybody goes to take a shot, but Cory's got to dip in and he says to wait, then you got to do a shot.
A lot of rules behind this drinking game.
That's the point of a drinking game. You got to have it's a lengthy list of rules. It's for the listeners, so when they tune in, rather than just waiting for us to do a shot, they're watching and listening, and when that condition is met, then they take a drink.
Like when Danielle yells at one of her dogs, she has to do a shot.
Yes, not Danielle, but the listener. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both sleeping right now or laying down. So.
Oh, that's good.
When Danielle yawns.
Yeah.
When she actually falls asleep.
When she just outright falls asleep.
Oh, that could be a couple of shots right there.
Danielle, what drink did you have that you're sharing with us right now?
A drink? I don't have anything right now.
Oh no.
We had just finished eating. My stomach's full.
Oh, okay.
What'd you have?
White Castle.
Cory.
That was not that wasn't my decision.
Okay.
That was
Danielle's,
all right here.
Okay.
Danielle's gonna have that Febreze can back up tonight.
I do have it in here.
Right.
Not for me.
Not for me. Not for him. For the dogs.
Clarify.
Sorry. Not for him.
Did you get the dog's White Castle too?
No, but Remy's butthole's been on fire the past couple of days, so.
So you thought, let me just kind of even it out. Let's get White Castle tonight.
Right.
Yeah. Let's just sit here and play battle shits with the dogs.
Right. Take that, canines.
All right.
2 can play at this game.
Guess who?
Oh, man.
All right, Cory. What would some of the rules be for Nick?
Oh boy. Anytime there's a dad joke made.
Okay.
Or some sort of cheesy pun.
Okay.
When Cory gets annoyed that I laugh too hard at one of Nick's jokes.
Ooh, that's a good one. So it has to be a dad joke that really landed with Danielle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can take that one out of the playbook.
No, I like that one. That stayed in there.
I don't know. Nick doesn't have too many weird little habits like that.
No?
Anytime I fiddle with something.
Well, then no, because then someone would just have to hook an IV up to themselves and get their alcohol intravenous.
He'd have to be fiddling with something that someone else needed, and they were like, "Where is that thing?" And he's like, "Oh, here."
I think there should be a version though that also applies to us. Not tonight, but like that we somehow, yeah, because it's got to be interactive. We can't see what other people are doing out in TV land. You know, we have to be able to see what each other are doing, and it's got to be some. It's got to be some form of punishment. So, like, if Cory really wants to chew, he's going to have to do a shot. Bob really wants to go smoke, he's going to have to do a shot first.
You know, but it's hard enough to make sure that we're all focused on actually talking and delivering content. I don't want, you know what I mean?
No, not tonight. Not this. I'm saying a different night that we would all have to do and try out first and then bring it maybe.
So you're
maybe
saying
3.
maybe do like a 1 hour podcast. Keep it nice and short, because by the time we get to that hour, like we really should just cut it off anyway.
Wasted.
Yeah. I'm good with that. But that'd be a different, but I like the idea of how many people are in the Facebook live room right now, Cory?
4.
4? All right.
We were at a strong 13 at one point.
Tonight?
Yeah.
It fluctuates.
Okay. Oh, wow.
What was that?
Nothing. I love the idea of those people actually drinking along with us. You know what I mean?
Mr. Greg Bader already agreed. Let's do this.
Yeah.
A lot of Jaeger bombs, Greg.
All right. So I'll take a turn. How about me? What would your rules for me be? Nick,
going out to smoke.
Okay.
Talking to your kids.
Yep.
Leaving and never coming back.
Okay, that's fair.
Bob's like, fuck you guys, man. I can't do a shot if I'm not here.
No, but I want somebody going, oh Jesus, he's not coming back. I gotta drink 2 full beers now. I gotta bong. I gotta get the bong out.
You just keep on drinking until Bob comes back.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy.
When
he starts
drinking.
When he starts the conversation with his kids, you start taking sips out of your beer, and you cannot finish it until he ends the conversation about how was your day today, or did you eat, or are you making some sort of banana bread?
How's that banana bread?
Oh yeah, how'd that turn out?
It turned out really good.
That's good.
It turned out really good.
She didn't burn the house.
She gave me 1 piece in a baggie before she took it.
Oh.
And left.
Why don't you tell the story, and we're back up to 8. Why don't you tell this story shortly for the listeners about last night's dry run before we were able to so eloquently pay our way into Facebook Live eternity, but how you almost died from banana bread.
Oh, so Cecilia had in her mind she wanted to make banana bread. Everybody's making bread, Dad.
Cecilia's your daughter, right?
She's my daughter. Yep. She was bored, didn't have anything else to do. She wanted to make banana bread. And I'm like, that's fine. So I knew she was in the kitchen when I got the text saying, hey, here's the session. We're all going to get on, Zoom, and we're going to just chat about the podcast and kind of get ready for tomorrow night. So I walked in the kitchen. She was FaceTiming with a friend of hers. And so I didn't want to interrupt there. So I got my headphones, Bluetooth connected to my laptop, put it in my ears. So I'm talking, but it's not you guys like echoing through the room. I'm kind of giving her a little, I thought it was a nice thing to do. So as soon as I did that, she walked over and she's like, Alexa. I don't want to trigger her right now, but she's like, play Dancing Queen by ABBA. And it's like, it's super volume. I'm like, dude, I'm here on the laptop. Now I can't hear anything. And all they can hear is ABBA. She's like, whoa, it's not that loud. I'm like, yeah, it's that loud. Turn it down. So she kept going, and at one point she brought over the bowl of the mix. She'd put all the ingredients in there. She was kind of just mixing it up. She's like, here, will you smell this? So I put my face down in the bowl. And Cory, Nick, and Danielle on the Zoom session, all I could see is me putting my face in the bowl. They're like, oh, you think you're the guy who's going to give it the sniff test and give it the thumbs up or thumbs down? That's who you are? I'm like, no, she asked me to smell that, even though I gave her no input and no advice. And I'm like, yes, it smells like banana bread. Good job. So
Doing good, honey.
Right. So she finished putting it together, put it in the oven for like an hour, and then she walked away. And we kept talking for a little bit, and then the dog had to go out. We took a break, or I took a break, went outside, and I came back in the back door, and I'm like, Jesus, the whole kitchen is full of gas because I have a gas stove. And while she was opening up the stove or doing something on the stove, she hip checked one of the dials and turned the gas on. Not to light it, but just so that the gas was coming out. I'm like, oh fuck! Now I gotta open all the windows and air the place out. And yeah, it's Michigan weather in April, which means it was 65 degrees the day before yesterday, and then yesterday it snowed. So I now got to put a coat on. I'm like, hey, dude, you can't, this is what happens when you leave the kitchen. She's like, oh, sorry. That's all I got. Oh, sorry about that.
So you're an actual cigarette smoker.
No.
And no, you're not.
No, I'm a vape smoker, but every now and again, those habits are hard to break. And on a podcast, on a break, I'll go out and have a cigarette.
So if you would have maybe been taking a drag as you were coming back through that door, it could have all been over.
Well, sure. Yeah, or if I decided to light a candle, or if I,
That would have been a hell of a Zoom session.
I put some toast down. I don't know.
When you originally said Cecilia, your daughter was in the kitchen making food, and you returned and the whole kitchen smelled like gas, I thought it was going to be a similar story of how Danielle and Cory's night's going to go tonight.
After that White Castle, it's likely going to be it.
It smelled like something. I'm sure gas is it.
I have a similar story where on several occasions when I was living at my mom's house, I have a very, very good olfactory sense, and I've always loved, scents and things of that nature. But I would even come home at like 1 or 2 in the morning, whenever, we'd be all hanging out in Dearborn or something, and come back home and immediately come in the door. It's pitch black. I can smell, natural gas. And I'm like, what the fuck? House is all dark. Everyone's asleep. So, like at 2 in the morning, well, the last time my mom would have been awake would have been like 9 p.m. at the latest.
That's a long time to have that running.
Yeah. So I remember one time I went directly in the kitchen and both burners were going, 2 of them. I turned them off. I opened all the windows in the house and I went up and I'm like, are you kidding me? And I right into her face while she was in bed. She's like, oh, what's wrong, honey? I'm like, what's wrong? Are you serious? And so I told her, and she's like, oh, you turned it off. Thank you. And just went back to bed. I'm like, no exigence whatsoever. No sense of urgency. Just like, thanks. Several times that happened.
So what was she doing? Did you ever discover why for some reason at night she was turning the gas on the stove?
No, she's just crazy. Okay. She probably had a couple wines and was like wiping the stove down or something and didn't know she turned it on and went upstairs. Or she hit it with her hip and turned it on and didn't know, I'm like, oh my God.
That's a quick way to make the house go up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a couple of those areas where I constantly have to be. Another one is the dryer. I'm like, who is not emptying the lint trap? You understand?
Ooh.
Blow the house up. Was it me? The answer is always from both of them. Was it me? Oh, I see. Okay. So as the dog decided to, I'm like, come on, I know it's one of you. At least just fess up. Be an adult.
I had a similar story with that as well.
Yeah.
Woken up pounding on my door when I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. Oh my God, the house is on fire. Wake up. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, what are you? And like I said, my mom's crazy. So I'm like, oh, well, she's just crazy. And she's screaming bloody murder. So I come outside, the house is on fire. Well, when someone screams at you and you get woken up by the house is on fire, there's no time for reason or logic. You're just like, well, I guess we got to go. This is what we have to do. We remember in school, single file down the stairs, let's go. And, I'm in my boxers and she's like, there's no time. And I'm like, I need pants. And she's like, there's no time for pants. Let's go grab the cat. I'm like, what? And so I remember it was like 6:55 in the morning, standing outside. There's still, frost on the grass, and I'm freezing, just like in a t-shirt and my underwear. And all the neighbors are walking outside. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And they come inside and, they all bring hoses in and stuff. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. My stepdad tries to go in. Oh my God, Joe, what are you doing? I'm like, wow, it was just, there was no shortness of theatrics. And So they went in and they came back up. They're like, yeah, you didn't empty the lint trap. The hose for your dryer caught on fire. But everything else is fine. We're just going to air out the house. And I'm like, all the neighbors are like, honey, are you okay? And I'm like, don't touch me. I'm in my underwear. But yeah.
And that was the beginning of his lifelong fear of being touched while in his underwear.
I feel like I've had kids like yours, Bob, for my entire life as well.
Yeah, it's a shitty feeling because every time you go to the store or something like that, or well, and be gone for the evening, you're like, please don't do any laundry. Just wait till I get home.
High, everything's on high.
I'm like, I shouldn't have to say that, should I? So
don't worry, Dad. We put more lint in the lint trap. That's what that's there for, right?
Right. It's like people rubbing their dirty socks on the lint trap.
We had to search around the entire house for more lint.
Oh, you want less lint? Oh.
We thought that's what made it run.
It's the lint.
Wait, why does Indy not have any more hair?
It's only lint powered dryer.
Oh my God, Dad, you'll never imagine. We checked the lint. It's always on empty. That dryer just sucks up a lot of energy.
So we shaved Indy and put all his hair in there. You're good.
Yeah, good times. I was just talking about this the other day too, where I feel like my kids are both over 18 now, so whatever damage has been done by me is well baked in, and that ship has sailed. There's nothing I can do about that now. But I think certainly for like the past 7 years, my thing for them has always been like, you do your homework, you guys share a bathroom, make sure, you split the cleaning of that, clean your room. Like, that's all I expect from you. Not at all like when I was a kid. I don't ask my son to cut the grass. I don't ask my kids to do the dishes. I don't ask them to run the vacuum, only if I can't do it for whatever reason. And part of that is I spent so many years fighting that battle where you're like, guys, could you just stop arguing? Just do the work. Why is this not getting done? And like now I've spent more time than if I'd actually done it myself. And so you do that enough times, and finally you just up, you're like, oh, the hell with it, I'll do it. And finally you just stop asking altogether. And you're like, I guess I'm just going to be a bad parent. I guess I can't.
The kids won.
I want it done more than I love you, I guess, is the reason. And that's just the way you're going to grow up. And maybe you'll figure out the value of work, but not on my watch, I guess.
Me, as your father, shall not teach you that.
No, not at all.
I have a feeling, though, with how you've said, obviously, you love your kids, but how you've described yourself when you were a kid, always scheming and conniving, sneaking, and you often say, my kids aren't that smart. They're not that smart to do those things.
Right.
So I almost feel it kind of runs parallel. Like, oh no, if they did the grass, they would blow up the lawnmower, or something would happen. They don't need to be doing technical things like the grass or the dishwasher. They would ruin something. Like,
it's not so much the ruining. I never even got that far because I remember distinctly many times asking Jack to mow the front lawn. Like, I'll work on weeding the back, cut out the weed whacker and shit. You just mow the front lawn. That's all you need to do. And hours later, it's still not done. It's not even half done. And I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, just, God, I just don't want to do I have to do this now? And I'm like, yeah, you have to do this now. And I would just have to keep on going out there. And then as a parent, you're like, okay, what is the problem? Is he walking real slow? Does he not know how to start it? Like, why is this not done yet? So you kind of peek out the window and notice that all he's doing is like, he's starting it. And then like the bag fills up. And so he's going to stop it so he can empty the bag. And when that happens and he goes, oh, it's spewing grass here, then it's just like oh God. He's just walking around, just like kicking rocks and just generally cursing me. And And you're like, look, this is work. You need to do, you're not special. You don't get to get out of work and know everybody does work but you. Everybody's doing this. You have a job. She has a job. I have a job. Everybody has jobs. Watching him going, okay, where did I go wrong?
Where did I go wrong?
Where the mere thought of doing 5 seconds of work is enough to make you literally have like a temper tantrum on the lawn, on the front lawn, in view of the entire neighborhood. You just go, God, jeez, God.
I just imagine Jack just rolling around on the grass, flailing his arms and smacking the ground.
He would do that, or he would be like, he didn't have a phone at the time, but he would have like I got him a little tiny MP3 player for like, $15 at Target or whatever. And so he'd just be like standing on the sidewalk, listening to that, just staring off into space, not doing any of the things. And I'd come out going, what are you doing? He's like, what? And he'd go pull off the headphones. What? I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, okay. back to it. And then I walk away, and like 5 minutes later, he'd be again like sitting on the porch or doing something where he's either bitching when I do it or just standing there trying to avoid doing it at all. And so finally I'm just like, oh, fuck it. I'll just go inside. Just go do something else. I'll take care of it. Because I've now wasted my entire afternoon trying to make sure that you do a 30-minute job. So, and he was not on me to single Jack out. Both my kids. I fucked up both my kids in much the same way. So I don't mean to pin all the blame on Jack. It's clearly squarely on me.
Oh, I used to do the you have to clean your room and you can't do anything to clean your room. So yes. You would close the door, you would just turn the vacuum on, ring, and I would just sit there and do other things. Every now and then move it around.
Hence why Nick no longer has any sense of you can leave a vacuum right next to him while he's sleeping and doesn't wake him up.
Nope. Got a nice little nap in those vacuum breaks.
A vacuum puts him right to sleep.
Yeah, that's how he can sleep through anything. He's been practicing sleeping through vacuums his whole childhood.
Just listen to him. Listen to him up there. He's been vacuuming for hours.
He is really cleaning that. He's cleaning the shit out of that room.
Not a single piece of lint on that carpet.
No.
You can eat soup off that carpet.
We should take the remains of everything he sucked up and give it to the Rankins so they can use their dryer.
Wind trap.
Yeah, so I'm like, I've already done the damage has been done at this point. There's nothing I could do. It is what it is.
At least you're self-aware.
Yeah, and if nothing else, I've given them the option to watch me do it, which they haven't really availed themselves of, but,
Let me show you how it's really supposed to be done, kids.
Oh, yes, Dad, please. I'd like to see the proper way.
Those kids have been watching me for hours.
They really want to learn.
There's oh man, I remember you start to go like, okay, I just need you to empty the dishwasher. I ran the dishwasher, so it's clean, it's ready to be emptied. So they pull out the top drawer, and because they don't want to do it, they just yank it out there real quick. They're like, God. And so anything that was like upside down bowl or something with some water in it is now like spilled all over the dishes on the bottom. And so they put them away, and I go to get plates out or glasses, whatever, and everything is soaking wet. And I'm like, I already washed these, and I'm like, is something wrong with my dishwasher? It's not really dry the way I thought that it should. I might have to have someone come out and look at that.
The drying function doesn't seem to be working so well.
Yeah, right. But then you go, oh, wait a minute. I asked the kids to empty it. Yeah, I need to watch them do it. I feel like something is amiss here. There's some tomfuckery going on. Sure enough, I'm like, why are you doing that? Because, God, I just want to, I'm supposed to FaceTime with my friends. And I'm like, I don't give a shit who you're FaceTiming with. Here's how you're supposed to do it. Here's how you do it right. And that's it. Either do, and that was so they would come down and make themselves a sandwich. And so they get all the shit out and they'd sit at the table, they eat their sandwich, and then they take like Like if they had a knife that they used to spread the peanut butter, the knife was on the plate, they would go so far as to take the knife off the plate, put it on the table, take the plate over, put it in the sink, leave the knife on the table along with all of the food, and then walk away. And then just go upstairs. And I'd come back in the kitchen at some point and be like, what? So I calm down. I'm like, Dad, I'm doing something. Like, I don't care. Get down here. And they would come down and I'm like, clean all this up. And they're mad. And so I walk away. I go clean this up and I go, I don't need to watch you clean it up. You know how to clean it up. So I go back to what I was doing. I come back and it's still not cleaned up. They put away like 70% of what they were supposed to put away. So now I call them back down again. And now they're really mad. Like, I already cleaned it up. I go, no, you didn't clean it up. And I will keep calling you down here until it's cleaned properly. So we can do this all day long where you go up the stairs and you think you're done and I tell you you're not. And we'll just keep going back and forth. That's what we want to do. Or you could just do what I fucking asked you to do the first time. It's your decision.
Clearly, it sounds like they always picked the.
That was their favorite. They liked walking stairs, I think. They really liked
what. Were there any memories where your kids were happy?
Yeah, when they weren't with me, I guess. They were really happy when I wasn't asking them to do anything, and they would like go in the basement and they'd get every single toy out of the basement and bring it out on the front lawn and play with it for about 4 minutes and then come inside and turn the television on. And someone would come home. I like come home from the store, going from work or something. Like, why is there 900 toys on our front lawn and no kids? And they're in there on the TV. I'm like, are you going to pick all that up? Oh, okay. Oh.
Were the toys watching them or when you were at the store?
No, one of us was home, obviously.
Oh, okay. I put my kids with all these toys on the front lawn and thought I could go to the store for a little while, and they're gone.
No. In the summertime, though, you're like, go play outside. There's no reason for you to be inside. Go outside. It's a beautiful day out. Go play with your friends. But for whatever reason, they couldn't. My kids and all of their friends they grew up with they didn't know how to just play with like a ball. Everything had to be like a production, like a play with like tons of costumes or art supplies, or there was always like a huge amount of accessories that was necessary to play, none of which got cleaned up after they quit the game 4 minutes later. So they would just move from like shit storm to shit storm, leaving just piles of shit everywhere in my living room, in the playroom, in the basement, on the front lawn, the back lawn. And no one ever wanted to wear socks and shoes. So they're constantly like, dirty feet everywhere, and like
Ugh.
my kids' friends who lived across the street would come over and play, and they would go home, and I'd be like, "Whose shoes are these?" "Oh, those are Haley's across the street."
She just left her shoes.
She left without her shoes? Like she didn't realize she wasn't wearing shoes, or that she was wearing. I don't understand. So I was constantly texting their mom, going, "Yeah, your kid's shoes are over here in case you're interested." But she never was, because there was always at least a day before someone came to get those shoes.
Walking down the sidewalk, God, something feels a little weird right now.
Yeah, there was never any. I'm like, why don't you just go shoot baskets, or grab the soccer ball and just play soccer? Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that. We're gonna put on a concert, and we're gonna build a stage, and we're gonna have every single musical instrument from the basement, and this concert's going to last about 4 minutes, and then we'll be done.
Good night.
Yeah, right. Woo!
Guns N' Roses show every night was a Guns N' Roses show. Always started late, never stayed very long.
Was it what was the name of the band? Big Jack and the Dirty Feet?
That's a good question. I don't remember. I'll have to ask him. Cecilia would know.
Dad, I told you not to tell the story about my feet.
But if we were doing like a block party, and Cory knows that from coming to the block parties, they would rehearse for weeks for a 4-minute block party performance, because they wanted to make sure everybody took pictures and video of them. in their costumes and dancing, whatever. But then they would get tired of it and they're like, okay, that's enough.
I've danced long enough for you. Off I go.
Not your monkey.
Not your bear.
Yeah, good times.
Sounds like it.
Mhm.
Got all Jack and the Dirty Feet.
Gross.
So what do you see in Danielle from the kids that from the kids you work with on a regular basis, as far as how they play or how they interact?
With what?
You work with kids, right?
Yes.
What do you see in the kids in how they interact with each other, how they play compared to like how you did when you were a kid?
Well, the kids I work with are on the autism spectrum, so they don't usually play great together.
Oh, there's no playing together. It's all single.
Well, they do sometimes, but I mean, like all of our sessions aren't they're just like individual sessions.
Okay.
They don't usually like have play interaction because I have them for like a half hour. So sometimes they do they get like we call it my choice at the end for like 5 minutes and they can play, but they don't typically pick like other kids to play with. Some of them do, but.
Oh, what? My choice?
Mm-hmm.
What is my choice?
Where they get to pick.
You get a choice, Bob.
Yeah, they get
talking to you.
they get a chance to pick something they want to do instead of something that like I want to do.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks to Cory.
Does Cory does once a day? Does Cory have a my choice pick of what he wants to do?
Yeah.
All right.
My choice time.
Cory, every time you have a my choice, you just do a shot of Fireball. That's you can do that anytime.
This is my choice.
But I have noticed like what you were talking about with your kids, with the kids like that live around here, for the most part, are pretty like good about cleaning up their yards. But there's one house, like a street over, there's always stuff out on their front lawn constantly. They don't like ever clean it up.
Yeah, so they've taken my level of disgust and just take it to the next step and go, I'm not even going to bother cleaning that. I'm just going to leave it there.
They also have a couch on their front lawn too, which I find kind of weird. But
Cory, if you're outside and you want to take a rest, you got a couch.
Shit, not a bad idea. You know what? Now that you mention it,
Yeah.
couch is going outside.
No, it's not.
You don't have to vacuum the grass.
There you go.
Jack's feet must have constantly been green.
They still are. Takes his socks out of him. What the hell, Jack?
You would think so.
Anybody got a news story?
I think you've asked me that a couple of times now.
I asked you.
Yes, you did.
Anybody else?
I have one from a couple weeks ago that I had prepped that we never got around to.
All right.
Let's hear it.
Go.
Well, we'll do a bit of a guessing game at this one. It's a news story about something that doctors are advising people not to do in order to cure hemorrhoids. So if you guys had to take a guess at what someone might try to do to cure their hemorrhoids, what might that be?
Did you say try not to do or try to do?
That people are doing
That they shouldn't do.
that. Yes, that doctors are warning people that they should not be doing because it does not help whatsoever.
Did you get this from the disgusting list of news stories, or?
No, it's actually I think it was just weird news.
Weird ass.
So you got a raging case of the hemorrhoids, Nick. What's the
I'm
first?
not really 100% sure what hemorrhoids are, so I don't know.
What's the first thing you think of doing to cure them?
I don't know. I don't know what they are.
No, hold on. You're saying what would you not do, right?
No, well, what are people doing that they shouldn't be doing because they think it's a cure for it?
Popping them?
Nope.
How would one go about doing that? I don't even know.
know. I'm just saying. I was taking a guess.
I mean, I have heard stories of guys like going in the mirror and taking like a Bowie knife and.
Oh God! Oh
no.
God!
I just got a little lightheaded.
I mean, you're going to want to take a break from seeing your dominatrix and all the spanking, I would think, during that period.
Well, yeah, that's something temporary though. This is
That's just common sense.
something that someone does in their home to try and cure the old hemorrhoids.
That they shouldn't do.
That they shouldn't be doing, but people found online that people said it was a cure, and so they tried it out.
Use a vacuum cleaner.
You're getting along the right lines as far as weirdness, yes.
Hair dryer?
Nope. Think food.
Food?
Yes.
I'm losing interest in this news story.
Prickly pear?
Close.
Ooh. Whatever that is, I think I heard it.
Oh, I just moved the chair.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to cure a hemorrhoid.
Bananas.
Nope. Little wider.
Wider than a banana.
I don't know. Cucumber?
Let's go vegetable.
Zucchini.
Eggplant.
You know a cucumber is a vegetable, right, Cory?
Potato? Potato.
Oh, with the eyes of the potato.
Do not stuff a potato in your ass to cure your hemorrhoids.
What is the potato supposed to do exactly? Does it have mystical properties?
To be honest with you, I have no idea. People were just saying that was a cure, that somehow the makeup of a potato would either soak up whatever bacteria or whatever you had that was creating your hemorrhoid. So people were stuffing potatoes in their butt.
Question: was it a baked or a twice baked potato?
Raw. Yeah.
Sour cream and chives?
With a little cheese.
Danielle, how many times did you have to tell Cory to stop doing that?
What? Putting potato in the butt?
Yeah. Twice.
I mean, sometimes it's just hard to learn a lesson, you know?
So, that's
First one was raw, the second one was mashed.
So, okay, moving along. I saw that in multiple spots today in Detroit. I think you guys might have seen this as well. Duggan had announced in Detroit that he's going to give hazard pay for city employees that are working on the front lines during the COVID-19 crisis.
Yeah, does that include you guys?
Not at this time, but it's moving in the right direction. So starting Monday, employees will be receiving an additional $800 in their pay. Some employees will get an extra $5 an hour for every hour they work. Since firefighters work in shifts, they will receive an extra $90 per shift. The hazard pay will apply to dispatchers and call takers as well, which is good for Donnie. But he's not in the city, so. Duggan said it will apply to workers like police, fire, DDOT, along with other city departments like water, health, and building safety. He said, I intend to leave this order in place as long as the emergency is here. But at least this is his way of helping. So I thought that was kind of cool. On a city level. Yeah, hey, the governor's not doing it, or, maybe the president's not doing it this time, to give out that hazard pay, but at least I can do, he can do that as the mayor. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll have an igniting effect, snowball effect, and grow into other locations and facets. So
yeah, that's totally cool.
Yes, sir. I'm excited. Hopefully it happens with us as well. What's that?
Go ahead, Nick.
No, I was just saying, I know there was a couple senators and stuff that proposed bills for hazard pay for first responders.
Yeah. Well, and like all the healthcare workers, really. Anybody
Yeah,
that has to
healthcare
work
and
at a
first responders.
hospital.
Yeah, they said healthcare first responders. They're looking for, I think one guy said 25,000 a year, an extra 25,000 a year. Someone else said, an extra $15 an hour or something like that. But
Right.
yeah, that'd be nice.
Well, it should be something. I mean, you guys are all putting your lives on the line. So.
Yeah, we'll see. Some people aren't making it through. Ian said that a lieutenant that he used to work under at Huron died from the virus. But we won't dwell on things like that. We'll go to more positive news.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just to piggyback on what I was talking about earlier, as far as bunkers, I found it's called Atlas Survival Shelters. Guy calls himself the Henry Ford of bunkers. They range from $49,000 at the low end for a 10 by 13 culvert pipe shelter, up to $5 million for a California Platinum Series, which sleeps 28 and includes a greenhouse and a motor cave. And this guy's selling bunkers like crazy. He says, my phone is ringing off the hook all day long.
Wow, no shit.
Yeah, up 4 times from last year, his sales volume is. And it kind of goes across the spectrum, but obviously it's for rich folks. It's around $100,000 probably for a good entry-level bunker.
Right, and then you got to think about, supplies and everything for it, so.
He goes, my shelters will protect you against a nuclear fallout, civil unrest, home invasions, anthrax, mustard gas, and COVID-19. There's not a known threat I know of that our shelter won't protect you against.
No.
So,
I feel like that's a bold statement.
Well, I mean, if someone's going to spend that kind of money on something, though, I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to want to guarantee something.
But you don't know if it's going to protect people from COVID-19.
Well, it's going to keep you away. You're going to live down there and not touch anybody.
But what if you live with other people that have it and you didn't know they had it?
Well, you can't let those motherfuckers into your bunker.
I'm just saying.
There was actually a documentary I watched on people that were purchasing bunkers and different types and all that. And there's this guy actually has a crew that works, basically as a security force. And anyone, and this was way before this whole COVID thing, anyone that was coming into the bunker, there was a whole decontamination area that people would have to go through.
Like a delousing?
Yes, and they strip down to nothing, and they would hose you down and spray you down with a bunch of different
I'd like the delousing.
chemicals.
I love the housing.
And then they gave you fresh clothing that you would have to put on in order to enter into the bunker.
Okay.
Yeah, but what if it's a respiratory illness? That's not going to do anything.
Well, then you just don't want that person in.
But Dad, why can't we come in?
Sorry,
We've already hosed you down.
Staying outside. Here's some toys you can put on the lawn.
They have an $8.35 million model called the Aristocrat, which comes equipped with a fitness center, a swimming pool, a bowling alley, and a movie theater.
Good Lord.
Do we have pictures of any of these, Bob?
Yeah, there's some pictures of them. That particular model, Kanye and Kim Kardashian have that model.
Of course they do.
Right.
We need them to survive.
To think about a world without Kanye and Kim. Jesus.
Oh, God.
What would we do?
What would we do?
Be a little bit smarter.
All right. So let's, how long we got into the Facebook Live session here, Cory?
1 hour, 13 minutes.
Oh, we're definitely overdue for shot number 2.
You're going to have to give that a second.
Well, someone should be drinking in the Facebook Live room. Cory, he's just turned a shot down because of the dip.
Oh, boy.
That's definitely a rule.
Alan Christensen says, holy shit, did Bob give up the USB port?
Why?
Maybe because of the...
We're doing a Zoom session through Facebook. No, Alan, unfortunately, he has not given up the USB port yet. Nick paid the money for us to do.
It's your Zoom session, not mine. You're running it. That's why.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Because I had the original subscription.
I'm
But
pretty sure for $40 I could have just bought one.
But Bob's referring to what Alan, because I'm running the Zoom session, so that's why Alan asked that question.
Yeah, Al says that
audio's
so
clean tonight.
Sorry, what, Nick?
No, Cory wanted to say who killed the person at the end of the movie before I could say it. So no, he's already said the audio's clean. I can read too.
Not fighting.
Nothing like a Zoom session where you talk all over each other.
Yeah, you know. But yes, Alan said the audio is very clean.
Awesome. He should know. So that's high praise.
I'm sure there's something to that when you pay for a better subscription that you probably get better bandwidth or audio clarity or something.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
there's got to be something to that.
Yeah, it could be. They could be throttling it at their end. Especially if you're coming from, your house or your wherever your location is, where you're streaming multiple cameras.
Yeah. You guys aren't going to do a shot because of Cory? Are we going to take a break or?
We could do that. We want to take a break and then we'll do shot when we come back.
Don't we usually do a break after an hour?
It's been over an hour.
Yeah.
All right, then we'll take a break and we'll come back in, let's say, 8:55. Do 15 minutes. Make it an even 9:10.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll work.
So we'll see you guys back at 9:10.
Welcome back. Hey, Danielle.
Hey, Bob.
If you were mayor for one day, what are 3 things that you would do?
Oh. Quit my job.
You're the mayor.
I don't want to be the mayor.
You would instantly quit, abdicate your throne?
I resign.
So there's nothing about your city that you live in that you would change. Everything's awesome.
I mean, I don't really have like a lot of interaction. Want to change things?
Okay. Well, that didn't go as well as I'd hoped.
Sorry.
I can tell you one thing she would do as mayor.
What's that?
You would ban all robins from the city. Robins as in the bird robin.
Is that a power that mayors have?
Is that what?
Is that a power that mayors have? The killing of birds?
She'd find a way.
I'm not killing them. I'm just vacating them from my property.
What's wrong with robins?
They make nests on my front porch.
I had to destroy a poor robin's home the other night.
Mind you, it only was one day that it was there, and it was not that elaborate of a nest yet.
Okay.
I'm pulling up the photo.
Oh,
Show what
really?
you did. Yes, because it's funny.
So on the porch, the porch light, for the past 3 years, a robin has made a home there to nest and have her babies.
And the first 2 years, she wasn't bad. But last year, she was really, really bad. Like, she was really mean.
In what way? What did she do? She steal your mail?
Well, she dive bombed at the dogs when we went out the front door. She would basically stalk the front yard. So if you went out to the front yard, she would squawk at you. But it got to the point that I have a railing on my porch, and she would sit on the railing and wait for you to come
So
out.
she was territorial around her nest.
Very.
Okay. So what did you do, Cory?
So after taking the nest down.
Oh, she also.
All right. So Cory, you took the nest down.
Took the nest down, and then had to try to figure out, so there's something to put up there that would stop this robin from nesting, which unfortunately the top of a porch light is not it's not like you can just put anything up there and it's going to stay up there.
Right.
So I had asked Danielle earlier in the day if she had any cardboard, and I thought that kind of meant she would find some cardboard and maybe look at the size of where it needed to be on top of the porch light, which didn't happen. So I had to look around the house to try to find something that would fit on top of the porch light. Well, the first thing that caught my eye was a good old White Claw box.
Of course. Well, you have a plethora of those.
So
I had one.
And how else are you going to find your home when you're driving down the street?
Exactly.
If you don't look for the White Claw box.
Right.
Exactly.
So after some home engineering, got the White Claw box attached on top of the porch light.
Hold on. You're calling it home engineering.
Yeah, look at that.
It's you putting a White Claw box on a porch light.
Yeah.
Well, but I had to make sure that certain things were sealed up correctly.
Certain things.
So, because there was a little bit of a lip around where the porch light actually met the box. So I had to make sure that was taped up so she didn't try to crawl up inside there and knock the box off or I'm like, the last thing I want to do is make this covered to where she can still get in and be like, oh, great, he made my nest for me.
That's a very unfortunate sentence.
So,
Yeah.
So Danielle's just going to have a White Claw box on her porch light from now on?
No, until
the season's over. Till they don't lay eggs anymore.
just a couple weeks.
Okay.
It's a couple months.
I feel like, Nick, correct me if I'm wrong here. I feel like the general thing that you do is you put, not thumbtacks, but you put little tiny spikes on areas where you don't want birds to nest.
Where I Googled it last year to try and figure out like what to do. But a lot of people said they had bought them at like Home Depot. They have like pokey like thing. I don't know what they're called, but they didn't really work.
They didn't work?
No.
Yeah, with those two, like I could actually see like her just making a nest on top of that.
Yeah.
So we needed something that actually went from the porch light all the way to the awning.
Because like everything I read was basically you have to make it like an uneven or something of that effect so that they can't do it. Because I don't know how she even makes a nest up there, but she's able to put it together enough that it's very sturdy. Plus I have an awning, so that's why she keeps coming back, is because it's protected. And that. So
being the podcast naturalist that I am, I would probably recommend something like some sort of predatorial urine that you could put on the areas, some sort of pheromones near the light, and that certainly would probably keep her away.
Hey, Cory, I think Crabby's in the room trying to get in.
Where would I get predatorial urine from?
You can buy it online. They use it for hunting and stuff like that.
Look to your right.
What would you use for a robin?
Like a coyote or something that would eat a bird. You know.
I'm thinking stallion urine myself.
Cory, I don't think there's enough testosterone in Cory's urine, but in most predatory.
Jimmy, what up, though?
What up, though?
James.
All I heard was predatory urine.
That's all you need to hear, my friend.
I knew I was in the right spot. I was like, I'm in the right room.
Yeah, we did our 15-minute production meeting, and that's what we came up with.
So speaking of which, Crabby, we need some of your urine.
Speaking of urine.
I couldn't get it to you. You know we're on lockdown right now, right?
Well, we'll figure out a way.
You can't send it in the mail because the mailman's not going to deliver with that robin.
You can send it in the mail.
No, the mailman's not going to deliver with that robin.
No.
Ah, fuck.
So, Danielle, are you at all confident that Cory is now working on a plan B to upgrade the White Claw solution?
No, it works. I'm not taking it down. She hasn't come back. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm happy there's no robin.
And on top of that, it makes us look real classy. So
you can't see it from the road unless you're walking by and like look up into my awning. You can't see that there's a White Claw box.
Why does it make you look like Lassie?
And I live in Roseville, so.
Oh boy. Okay.
That's why they look classy.
The low bar of Roseville is all you're trying to get over?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as you don't have a couch on the front lawn, you're doing good?
I tried putting a handle of Maker's Mark up there to block her, but it's apparently if you don't live in Ferndale, you can't do that here. So
she'll keep coming back. She'll stick her little beak in there and just get a little something.
Well, plus Cory would never spend the money to buy Maker's Mark to be able to have that bottle. So
he would just steal the bottle I left at either Bob or your place.
Exactly. Have to take a trip out to Ferndale and B&E Crabby's house.
I was just wondering if, because I'm with my Uncle Ray's background, since I'm doing this, if Jason's going to come over and kick me out of my kitchen for vaping.
Oh, that's what the text was. It took me a second when I read that. I'm like, what's he talking about?
Right.
But yeah, we're under Jason's rules. No vaping.
All right, Cory.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
No, I was just going to say, anytime I use this background, Jason's rules override everyone else's.
Is that so?
Yeah.
I do imagine at some point, like, Jason just all of a sudden walking into the screen behind the bar.
Oh, my God, I think I'd pee.
Hey, man. You guys doing a podcast?
Holy fuck, Jason, how'd you get in here?
He just walks in the background. Hey, dog, get him one on me, man. I'm like, the fuck?
Wait, Nick, is he actually in your house? No, he's not here.
What the fuck is going on?
All right, Cory, you're up here. If you were mayor for a day, what 3 things would you do?
Mayor for a day. Well, I would declare that every day is Cory Selesky Day.
Okay, you're only mayor for one day.
Oh, well, that day is Cory Selesky Day then.
What does that even mean?
It means anyone has to do what I say, not just because I'm the mayor, because it's also my day.
So, but you already have the power as mayor. Why would you need a day to make people do what you already have the power to make them do?
Because just you need that little extra bit, that little extra kick to really let people know.
This is the Aladdin conundrum. You're wasting a wish.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
You wish for more wishes, Cory. Come on.
I wish for another day as mayor.
I'll figure it out tomorrow.
That's one.
It's
actually a hard question to really come up with something right off the top of your head.
You could just do what Danielle did and say, I wouldn't do anything.
I'll tell you what, there's this little fucker that rides his little fucking dirt bike up and down the road. He would be kicked out of the city.
No dirt bikes.
No, everyone else can have a dirt bike except for that one little fuck.
Hostile. Very hostile.
The Timmy Buchanan rule.
When I was driving over here on, what was it, Halloween, I almost hit the little fucker, and he looked at me like I was the idiot as he's doing 120 down the street on his dirt bike with no headlight. So, yeah, he'd be gone.
Okay.
And, 2 things can be right at the same time.
No, that's not possible, Pappas.
It would have to be 2 things that I've said.
And then the third would be relocating Uncle Ray's to the city I'm mayor of, and it would never close, no matter what governmental order is given.
It would be open for that 24 hours. I
go.
thought you were going to move the whole city to Ascota.
Ah, fuck. That's why I need the other day as mayor.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't be Ascota.
No, it'd be
Coryville.
It'd be the city of Cory.
Oh, I would hate that. This is eerily similar to Cory's day in heaven.
Except in this example, property values are plummeting in Coryville.
Right. With zero dirt bikery going on.
No, like I said, anyone can have a dirt bike except for that one fucking kid.
He's really obnoxious.
I just want him to sit in his room and cry like a little bitch.
But you're in a neighborhood where it's socially acceptable to not deliver mail and to use White Claw containers to block birds. So, I mean, really, up and down the street on a dirt bike is probably acceptable.
No, not when it's
He's actually classing up the street from the sound of it.
Yeah, Danielle also said her other neighbor has a couch on the lawn. So
Cory said that. There's no couch.
It's a futon. It's not a couch.
Oh, their kids leave their bikes outside and all their stupid toys, but no couch. That was just Cory.
Danielle, do you usually stand outside with a baby on your hip, smoking a cigarette?
No.
No. No.
A Virginia Slim.
No. One of my neighbors does, but that's funny.
Yeah. The baby's usually inside, not on the hip, still on the stomach. I worked in Roseville. I dated a girl from there. I know what's up.
Inadvertently sired a child, which is now riding dirt bikes around the town every night.
Yeah.
All I know, if it was, he's over 18. I got.
Well, that's the other
Wow.
thing. The kid's not 18. He's like 12.
I don't think he's even that old.
Cory, I don't think ever have I seen you this lit about something. Just fired up.
It's really obnoxious. That's why.
It must be. I believe it.
Crabby, I was literally this far away from smoking the fucking kid on his dirt bike. And
On
then
accident or on purpose?
it would have been a total accident.
Oh, okay.
Which after it happened and he got pissed, I was kind of like, fuck, I wish I would have hit him.
I wish
So
I could see that altercation.
It wouldn't really be much of an altercation. I just would have looked out my window and I'm like, oh shit, and pulled in the driveway and went inside.
Now that sounds more like you.
This child also shoots his Nerf guns all the time, and I find Nerf darts in my yard constantly.
Oh my God. You should just keep them all.
Yeah, I was going to say, those things are worth their weight in gold.
I could use them.
Keep them all for 2 years, get a Nerf gun, and then attack during the night.
Yeah, Nick is the strategic one of this group.
That's right.
And they could be bullets. They could be spent shells on your lawn. So be thankful that they're Nerf.
Oh, I would love that day.
No, I just throw them away out of spite.
Jimmy.
Out of spite. That's fantastic, Danielle. That made the night right there, out of spite.
It really
All
is
good things are done out of spite. Jimmy, you're mayor for a day. 3 things that you would do.
Oh, man. And I can do anything?
Yes. Yeah, we'll call this the Todd Dillon rule. You can do anything.
I'm not.
Includes Jessica Alba in any way you want.
Oh, man. Well, first thing was, whatever drink you want, you get. So you get the drink of your choice.
So all people within the city limits, do they have to pay for this drink?
No, it's free. So I asked if it was just one day.
Yeah, one day.
I'm not a real big give shit free away, but that would be fine.
Free drinks all day or one free drink for the day?
No, free drinks all day.
Free drinks all day. Who's footing the bill? The city?
Yeah. Tax.
You're diverting money from the You're diverting from the Public Works Fund to the alcohol.
No, just their taxpayer money. That's all.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Would this be like something that you're able to do because of the state of emergency that you've declared in your city?
Oh, is it at this time? Is it 3 things at this time? Okay, 3 times. No state of emergency. No state of emergency.
Oh, wait a second. Hang on, though. I think you're onto something there, Nick. Just declare a state of emergency for that day, and you could have martial law and all that shit.
You already had your 3, Cory.
But you didn't suggest anything that mayors couldn't do. You're already mayor. Your big thing was no dirt bikes for one kid. out of spite.
Oh, but now there's so much more I want to do.
Well,
Think about it for your next term. God help us.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
what else, Jimmy? Anything?
Well, definitely free. Definitely you're drinking free for a day. If there's paid parking, since I live here in Ferndale, there's a shitload of it. It'd be free parking for everyone for a day, and not Sunday because it's already free.
Mhm.
So this would be a different day than Sunday. And then the third thing would be,
How about a festival in your honor?
for the day,
Sure, an all-day festival.
that would need to be a weekend.
I was
If we
gonna
were,
say,
I'm just saying, if we're gonna do it, I'm just saying, I'm being real, man. Keeping it real. It has to be a weekend. I would go. I would say we pay again. I'm giving shit. I feel like Bernie Sanders here. I'm giving shit. Giving free away shit free all over. I would say whatever streaming service you want, free for the day.
Okay.
all right.
You have a very specific end goal in mind. Drunk people watching free movies.
Yeah.
All day.
First, hear me out here.
Parking
Free parking to go get your booze for free. To get your free booze.
Yeah.
Get back home. Stay home. That way you don't go out driving and killing anybody. And you're just watching shit all day. And then if you got your honey with you, then whatever you do after that.
Here, honey.
Nick Bader. Mayor Bader.
For the day.
Mayor Bader for the dayer.
I would appoint myself as police chief.
Double duty? Or you're abdicating your responsibility?
That'll just be for the day. The mayor's just for the day, but the mayor can appoint the police chief. So, and I would write up a contract that says that the next mayor the next day cannot take me out of office.
I think I said it earlier. The strategic guy of the group, Nick Bader.
I'm telling you,
the strategic guy. Yeah, he's a thought guy.
power for a day is not going to do me any good. Power for a long time is going to help me.
It's gonna help you.
Yeah, I can do a lot of good.
I always knew you were the strategic one. I did not realize you were the selfish bastard out of the group.
Spite and altruism. That's the backbone of this podcast.
Uh-huh.
I can do. I think of how many good things I can do though.
For yourself.
No, for other people. Come live in my city.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, explain to me how your city's gonna be better. What else would you do? You're the police chief?
Yep. I would just be mayor for a day, but I'd be the police chief, so I could implement a lot of rules and policies, and have my friends come and say that certain bars can do different things. I don't know. I've never been police chief, so I'm not really sure.
I was gonna say you're a little far off there on how that all goes.
I'd be involved in a lot of these talks.
If anything, you should stay the mayor because then you could change policies and rules and all that.
But the rule is I can only be mayor for the day, so I can't say I'm going to be mayor forever. That's going to be my rule. But so yeah, the next best thing would be the chief.
Okay.
So we're still on number one.
On what?
And then
You got three things you could do.
Oh, three things. Mayor for the day. So chief is one.
And writing a contract would be two.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
that's part of instilling himself as the
Ah,
I think that's two.
Yeah, I'm going with Danielle. It's two.
That's
All right.
two.
Okay.
I would. I think I would write into city law that that the city would provide. Okay, let me think. So I would write into law that bars could stay open, and the bars that stayed open, the city would provide transportation to people coming and going, free of cost.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Because I can say, as somebody that would be one of those people, I always wanted to take a ride in a cop car when I was a kid. I could do it this time. I'd be hammered. Could I hit the whaler? That's what I'd be asking that guy. Can I hit the whaler?
Sure.
Excellent.
How are they going to handle all the other crime that's going on in your city?
I mean, Crabby's the one that said the squad car. For my friends, of course I'd be the chief, so I'd allow that. But for the general public, there'd be some sort of shuttling service.
Okay, gotcha.
But if you're a VIP such as Crabby, then you can be shuttled around.
Police escort.
Luckily, I'm a friend of ours, so that's good. Excellent.
And then you can hit the whaler.
Nice.
Crabby only goes places lights and siren.
And big entourage, either one.
Just to get them
siren
home.
or entourage.
Lights and sirens straight home.
Gina says free fireball for everyone.
Well, duh.
Not a bad rule.
Except for Danielle, she's out.
Yeah,
But I think the end of that day is going to be chaos in that city.
I'd pass.
But could you? I mean, come on. If I was the police chief, I came into one of the local bars, I think there'd be a lot of fireball given away.
Free fireball and one ranchada.
That's right.
Would your deal be like, look, all of you are all going to spend the night at the drunk tank tonight, but it's going to be because I'm giving you free fireball for the rest of the night. So you're going to drink all that fireball, not have to pay a cent, and then you're all coming with me.
Let's go. Free transportation.
Yep.
Who's going with me?
A bed to sleep in. Well, not a bed. A shelf to sleep on with a plastic cup and a toothbrush.
Wait, Cory, do I have any control over liquor licensing?
Wow, this got deep.
Yes, Chief, you'd have a little control over that.
He's like,
I would set one aside for Mr. Thomas so we could have an Uncle Ray's part 2.
But he already has a liquor license.
Yeah, but I'm not in that city. I'm not the mayor of Dearborn Heights.
Oh, so you're saying you want him to be able to up and move Uncle Ray's wherever he pleases?
No, it would just be a second Uncle Ray's.
I think he's going to seize some property on that day and tell Jason, bring a bunch of beer and tables and chairs, and you got Ray's too.
Which we refer to as the deuce.
Yeah, the double deuce.
Or would that one be Uncle Jay's?
Ooh. Are we talking about a cannabis situation there? Or?
Uncle Jay's second raise.
Cory, that's brilliant.
I thought so.
It is.
Would you advertise in the local paper, Nick, and tell everybody that the deuce is dropping on Tuesday?
Or
well played, sir. Well played, Bob. Thank you.
Or
and the winner is.
would it be Uncle Ray's unofficial?
No, it's got to be official. You can't have an unofficial Uncle Ray's.
Yeah, that would be called a blind pig.
That's right.
Crabby, we got to catch you up too on before you joined earlier in the cast. We did a.
Can I just say this before we do that? It's
sure.
awesome. It's awesome to see you guys. So good to see
You too, man.
So good.
Wish it was in person.
I wish it was a little bit taller. I wish it was a baller.
Crabby, like you're not a baller. Come on.
I'll set him up and you knock him down, Crabby.
And I'm fucking tall too.
those baby beats by Crabby on your head there.
That's right. With the Kango.
Screen baller.
Baby.
Earlier in the podcast, Crabby, we did the first draft of the rules for the Schnozzcast drinking game.
Oh.
So God. I want your opinion here. For example, this would be a set of rules written up for the listeners so that they could tune into the podcast and kind of play along. And for example, every time Joe shits all over someone's idea, they have to do a shot.
Be like a bong. You need a bong. You would just need to constantly drink or an IV.
Right.
Thank you. I said IV.
Cory, again, right there, you and me.
I got you.
I think another example was every time we call for a round of shots, but Cory says, hold on, I have a dip in. You got to take 2 sips.
Nice.
Every time Jimmy Pappas says you guys should have done a 15-minute production meeting, you gotta slam your beer. So I want to know. I want to know what your thoughts are. How we could add to those rules.
Oh, what were some other ones? Give me some other ones.
Well, Mr. Pappas, I did mention, and this is more intimate knowledge of of having Zoomed with Bob for the past several weeks during the quarantine. But anytime that his kids jingle some keys and he looks into the distance and starts up a conversation with them while we're all trying to talk for 15 minutes, and it's always like, what? No, I don't know.
Because you can only hear one side of the conversation.
Well, I know. Well, what did she say? Okay. And did she bring her own socks as well? Okay. Tell her I said hello too. Okay. I don't know. I've never made banana bread. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. I talked to her mother the other day. I was actually at the grocery store. She said she went there right before I did. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where your saxophone is, Jack. I don't know. Sorry. Anyhow.
Well, and to play along with the game. To play along with the game, I think you should cover that in the next 15 minutes.
It's always
got more and more painful the longer it went, but I was okay with it.
It's always
that and towards the end there, Nick, you started to turn into Will Ferrell's Harry Carey impression. I don't know what happened.
Bit.
Last time. Hey.
Where's your saxophone?
Yeah, you went into like the last 10 seconds of it. I'm like, oh my God, Nick is transforming into his Harry Carey. Will Ferrell.
Well, Jack, it has been a pleasure.
Where's the saxophone?
The only thing I was waiting for was you to take out your wallet and give the kids money as well.
Yeah, here. Well, how much do you need? Dude. Dude, no. The movies aren't even open right now.
Oh, God.
Oh. Brutally fun.
This is a must. You definitely need to get this documented.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Listeners. Without question. It reminds me of the Rod Allen drinking game. Nick, you won't know what that is in sports.
No, I have no idea.
I know. But everybody else would know what the Rod Allen drinking game was. It's fantastic. The Schnozzcast drinking game would be outstanding.
Yep, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nick wanted to do a separate game. It sounds like it would have to be a separate game where all of us on the podcast are punished if any of those things happen.
Yeah, because, we can't see what, John Q. Public is doing or Bill J. Schnozzcaster. We can't see that, but we can see each other. And the point is entertainment. And I feel like that if we were trying to, I don't know what just happened. I don't know why my phone just jumped out of the Facebook Live, but is it still going?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. But that something to where, every time it has to be kind of punishing for the person themselves. So like every time Bob does that, he's going to be like, son of a bitch. So now Bob's got to do the shot, because, Cecilia screamed his name from the kitchen or something like that. And he looked off into the distance like a squirrel ran by, or Cory gets up and leaves the frame. He does that quite a bit. He doesn't move that much in person. So I don't know where he goes. But, Danielle yawns. I tell a story where I saved the day, something like that. Where we have to do a shot.
Oh God.
Which I think it would have to
Letterkenny reference.
It's a one-off podcast. It's a one-off podcast that can only be like no more than an hour because we're going to be so drunk by the time it's done. We're going to have to cut it short. But we got to remember that we're not here to entertain ourselves. We're here to entertain the audience and give them a reason to watch and to listen. That's what this is for. I
mean, and it could be adjusted. It doesn't have to be a shot every time. Like we're We're not psychos.
We're not savages.
You're right. It could be, a sip of beer or a couple drinks, every time something like that occurs.
Yeah.
Just
like,
something to force you to do it,
Right. Like playing, what's the, what is it? 3-man?
2-man.
2-man. My bad.
You could play 3-man.
Yeah.
So you're talking about doing this, you guys doing it, not the audience?
Well, we're talking about two different things, but yeah, like something for the audience and also separately something for us.
But it's the same thing?
Well, the thing for us would be like a once in a blue moon kind of a thing.
Oh, I could go for a blue moon.
We have to call it the punishment episode.
How many minutes would Joe get into it before he just said, "Oh, fuck this thing"?
How long would it take Joe to get drunk on things that he did that caused him to drink? He'd be drunk within the first 15 minutes.
I feel like he would probably follow the rules for about 4.5 minutes. And then he would just be like, "Man, I ain't fucking doing this. This is stupid."
I was about to say, Nick, I was going to say, better question is, again, I'd like to set a Vegas line like I did that time about Bob's bit to fail. Yeah. Same deal as I'd like to set a Vegas line for how quick Joe would say that was a fucking stupid bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'd set the odds on that and then have your audience bet on that. I got a PayPal account. That's
actually a great idea because here's how Joe operates. I really hope Joe's watching or listening. Joe tends to try to really dissect the rules to determine whether or not they're fair to him. And if they're not, then he kind of retreats back into his turtle shell. And now he doesn't want to play. And then it just becomes like now you have to coax him out again. You have to dangle a little bit of a sugar cube in front of him to get him to come out again. It's okay. You can play with us. It's fine. So you got to take that into account. And once he goes into that turtle shell, that's when the odds that's when you start to make money, Crabby, on that line.
I'm all about it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm all about it.
So what's new with James Crabby Pappas? Staying out of trouble?
Same thing that's new with you, yeah. same thing that was new with you.
How are you keeping yourself busy these days?
Well, I mean,
a lot of makers?
No, not really. No, because alcohol kills your immune system, and I'm trying to keep my immune system up here. But I'm doing it once in a blue moon. I'm having a cocktail here. But no, okay. Man, it's all good. It's all good. Taking it with stride, man.
I feel like you and I were of the same mind where we weren't gonna take the bait for that Tiger King bullshit.
Oh, ain't gonna happen.
It's hilarious.
Oh my God, no.
Sorry, it is. It was very entertaining.
That's what everybody says.
Danielle, I had so much more hope for you.
Sorry, everybody was talking about it on Facebook, so I talked Cory into watching it, and we watched it all.
Bah.
I couldn't do it.
2 shots of that. No, I'm out.
Right.
Yeah. I gotta give you my deal on that is I struggle enough being dumb enough from playing ball, as much football as I played and drinking. I just can't burn any more brain cells and shit.
It was just like amazing how crazy it got.
And that might be the other thing too. Nick Cory might. Well, you said you got Cory in on this, but
yeah, he watched it.
The other thing is too is that I've seen so much shit in my time, that so much effed up shit with what I've done or where I've been or what have you, that I don't need to add any for entertainment.
It was things that I just was not expecting.
I bet.
So I wasn't disappointed.
Well, Danielle, you'll be happy to know Gina said she could not stop watching that mess.
I know you couldn't. It's like you had to keep, like a train wreck, you just have to keep going.
Now, that I understand because that's how I completed my gentleman's agreement from the show.
Danielle, that's
Oh, shit. I forgot all about that.
Well, I can understand. Nick, it's only since last night since I texted you.
Right. Nick, you're now face to face with your destiny, your fate. gentleman's agreement. Someone actually followed through on it.
8 fucking seasons followed through with it. I mean, that's no bullshit right there.
I didn't give him Letterkenny.
No, you didn't.
You guys did as a group. As a group, the first time I was on.
I guess technically that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we had joined our Schnozzcast rings all together, and then we made that one decision.
It was like the Wonder Twins, but like 4 of you.
Cory was Gleek, and
is Cory done for the rest of the evening? Danielle, you want to scoot over and center that shit?
Drink. He's coming back.
It must be an emergency poop.
Oh, he's in the kitchen.
He dropping the deuce.
tell him to stop pooping in the kitchen. It's really not good.
Remember, she said it's a studio, so there's just a toilet in the middle of the room.
Unless that's what happened in Roseville, you just poop in the kitchen.
Sorry, guys. I did.
White Claw boxes on your porch lights and poop in the kitchen.
That's how it goes.
So, speaking of killing brain cells, on behalf of the podcast, give the audience your quick capsule review of Letterkenny now that you've finished it.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. And, of course, quarantine helped me out. Because I think last time I was on the show, I think I just got through season 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Which was awesome because when I started that explanation out and I was shitting all over it, like Joe does in most things, I wish I would have videoed all your faces because you guys were like, oh my God, he's shitting all over this show that we talk about on this show all the time.
Yeah, it was blasphemous.
And then when I came back with it, and it was like, yeah, but I love it. So, yeah, it was awesome. It's really, really good. I think it reminds me of, and I was talking with somebody about this the other day. It's
The other
like
day.
episodes of
The other day.
Nice. You got to work that in the drinking game somehow too, like Letterkenny references. You know what I mean? There has to be.
Yes, that's true.
But it is perfect for when you've had like the stressful, intense day or week. Just to throw that on. It kind of reminds me if you had episodes of Napoleon Dynamite. Because I watched Napoleon Dynamite at the perfect time, too. I watched Napoleon Dynamite when I had like 3 weeks of a ball buster, 3 weeks. And one of my little cousins got me set up. She's like, oh, Cousin Jimmy, you got to watch this. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I turned it on, and it was so stupid, I laughed my ass off. So I feel the same way about Letterkenny. But the other thing that's kind of cool about it is it's not very far from us. So, like,
right.
Hearing the Michigan references, hearing the Ontario and Quebec references, just some of those things are really, really cool. And not only is it funnier and shit, but I always find those things funny too.
Crabby, if you could have gone to the live show with us and saw and heard some of the banter they did about stuff in Michigan,
it was amazing.
It was
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious.
Well, I'm in next time they're here and we're not quarantined by the first pandemic in 100 years.
One of the few shows that they got in on their tour before it all
started. I was thinking about that. Yeah, it's funny you said that.
First show on the tour in the U.S., and I think they only got to maybe one other city before they shut it down.
Well, I was thinking about that because I follow them on Twitter, and they put the shutdown on Twitter. And when they put the shutdown, I saw the date, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was like one of the last few. So I've found it funny. I know I texted you guys last night. I would say that second episode from that Mennonites episode is definitely top 10 sitcom episode of all time. Oh my God, eat a dick, and oh my God, too funny. I was by myself, I thought I was going to put a diaper on. It was so funny.
Cory, the cool part was it was a few days ago. I got a text from Jimmy, just kind of out of the blue, saying Shorzy's the best character on TV today
ever.
Oh, dude, when they introduced him into the show, absolutely, and genius as far as writing him in too, like not actually showing his face. We were just talking about him the other night, kind of like he's the Wilson of Letterkenny.
Yeah. Oh, he's awesome.
And it actually took when you first watched him, we started watching it. It took a while to realize that was Jared Kiso. It took maybe 1 or 2 appearances of him, and you're finally like, wait a second.
Is that the actor that plays Wayne?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, too good. And Cory, I'm thinking about you the whole time. Every time I'm watching it, I'm like, Cory should go to Hollywood. He's got an eye for talent. Because I remember that story. You said you watched 5 minutes of it, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that shit's gonna be awesome."
We watched the trailer.
Yeah, it was only a couple minutes of it, and I was hooked.
Yeah. Well, you're just little things too. I mean, again, probably because of my background being in social psychology and just sociology as well. Like hearing oh shit, I can't think. What's the sister's name?
Oh, Katie.
Hey,
Thank you. Yeah. So first time I'm hearing Katie, the first time I'm like, man, I don't think this girl's Canadian. I think she's like originally, like her real life. I'm like, she sounds West Coast. She sounds like she's like California girl. And so I looked her up, and sure as shit, she's not California girl. She's Canadian girl, but she's a West Coast Canadian girl. So she's got that West Coast accent with a Canadian accent.
all kind of one and the same.
Yeah, so you can hear it, you know. And then there's little things too, like probably good timing for me to watch it because I just took a cruise, actually, not this past October, but the October before, where I went from Boston to Halifax and St. John's, New Brunswick. So some of the shit that they talk about up in those areas and the Canadian stuff up in those areas and the accents and everything and different shit that they talk about culture-wise, yeah, that plays into it too. So yeah, so thank you all. I enjoyed it. So is Nick wrestling somebody up there?
He's got a problem where he steps away from his laptop and he never mutes it, and then it's like he starts putting soccer balls in the dryer.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it is? Because I feel like he's wrestling. I'm waiting for him to come back with the John Cena 5 knuckle shuffle.
You got to start muting your phone when you step away.
Nope.
But Crabby, you would have really liked because they did like a skit in the locker room, and like all of the Red Wings references that they did. Like it was so funny.
Yeah, it's good. And Wayne, I mean, he's probably my favorite character out of everybody. He's so good. But then even like the Phillies, like Rachel or what's her name? Katie. Mm-hmm. Is her name Rachel in real life? Why do I get Rachel? Is that her real name?
No, it's Michelle.
Yeah,
that's Michelle.
You're thinking of Friends.
But like even her, just like that's not usually my typical chick that I dig, but just because she's got sass, I dig her in that. And she's got for a short girl, she's got legs for days in that as well for a short girl. But like even stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cory, what do you think about her?
Ugly.
Good answer, buddy.
Damn it.
Can't stand looking at her.
Shut up.
And the thing that's made me start to think about is I feel like we should start fighting more. Anybody else with me on that? I feel like maybe we should start fighting at the end.
Just pick random people to fight with?
Not random, but just kind of have Nick, the strategist, strategically pick one out. We'll figure it out, and then we should just go up and I'll start wearing a flannel where I can start undoing my
undoing the buttons.
Yeah, on buttons. Yeah. Which
is funny because Cory and I have fought, and Bob and Cory have fought. So maybe there's just a problem with Cory. Maybe Cory's the issue.
I don't know. I think Cory's a genius. He called this in 5 minutes if this was going to be a hit show.
I will disrespectfully disagree on that comment.
And no one else in the room can be a genius except for Nick Crabby.
No, just not Cory. Cory just can't be a genius.
I'm so glad that was it because I was like, God, am I starting to get a drinking problem? Did Cory not say that? I'm
like, no, he did.
I'm like, God, did I remember that wrong? Because this whole time, every time I'm watching, I'm like, I know. I'm like,
Cory's years ahead of his time on certain things.
Oh, this one for sure. Because I just think about that story all the time. And I remember Cory said it like with his arms crossed right now when he was looking at the video. He was like, oh, yeah, that shit's going to be hot. That's going to be fantastic.
Speaking of drinking problems, Cory, you ready?
Oh, all right. Crabby.
What are we
shot?
going?
Shot time. You, Cory, or Jimmy, I know you're drinking a mixed drink. You're not doing shots.
I'm drinking straight up. No mixed drink. I drink. So I drink a shot the entire time.
Nick?
Salud.
Cheers.
Salud. Happy Easter.
Yes, happy Easter.
Speaking of which, Crabby, what are the Easter plans now that all this shit's going on?
It's gonna be weird, dude. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be weird. You know, I have a big Greek family that this is a traditional Greek Easter that we have, and we usually have 4 legs of lamb, and there's 35 people, and it's loud. And I've been doing it all my life, and so it'll be weird being by myself. But I guess I know that when this is all over, we'll get together and we'll have it. We'll have that dinner on our own. But yeah, so
I was saying, Crabby, you could probably finish 4 legs of lamb, couldn't you?
oh, dude, I get surgical on that shit in a heartbeat.
There you go.
My aunt did say, she's like, guys, I am so ready for this to be over so we can have a big fucking party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just kind of So, but I'm cool with it, man. I know what's up. So we'll get through it, do what we got to do, and then we'll get back to normal. So so on my own, I'm cooking a tri-tip. I got some kale greens, sweet potatoes, and a little homemade applesauce. That's what the menu is for Sunday.
Is it drunken applesauce?
I don't know what the hell's drunken applesauce.
Oh, you like to add bourbon or something to it?
Oh no, just straight up, yeah. But I'll be drinking wine the entire time. So if that's what you mean, I might be buzzed up while I'm making it.
So my buddy Kevin, who's a nurse, he's worked with me for about, not worked with me, but I've known him for about 5 years. Mm-hmm. And he asked me if he could stay here during this. He's got a newborn and 2 little boys at home. So I'm like, yeah, dude, if I'm exposed to something, you're exposed to it. We're both in the same city,
Good
so
man.
he's been staying here. But he did tell me today, he said, that there's no need for him to pick up overtime anymore because the census numbers in the emergency rooms are actually so low. So he said he takes that as a good thing. He thinks that the quarantine is actually working.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure it's working. Dude, if we didn't do this quarantine, that's all right. I see some of these conspiracy fools online. I know we have fun here, not to get serious, but it blows my mind. I'm like, and the problem with it is, to be quite honest with you, is that society has hated math for so long, because if you understood math, it's just a game of numbers. You would understand that if we weren't under quarantine, you would take those numbers. Like I was just seeing yesterday that they said, initially it started that 1 person would infect 6. And now because of the quarantine, 1 person is only affecting 1.3 people.
Right.
So you just take those numbers. You know what I mean? It's like people don't understand math that think this is some joke. I mean, it's just simple math. If you did the math without the quarantine, what this would look like. It might not be the catastrophe of the Spanish flu, but it still would be. I mean, it's 3 times as more contagious than the regular flu. When you think about it in those terms. So. But yeah, quarantine is definitely working. That's what I'm cool with it. And I don't know about you guys, but I think everybody here can relate. I was talking with somebody the other day. Thank God that we have the other day. Thank God that we have Zoom and stuff like this, because back in the day, like if this happened when I was talking with some of my high schoolers that I lead at my church, and I was talking with them and they understood this. I was like, if I was your age and this happened, I'd have a push button phone and 13 channels. And that's it.
Right.
And now at least we have Zoom and FaceTime and some of these things that we can still have some human connection with. So.
Well, think about, in even the earlier days than that, where, let's say people didn't have a phone, or something. And, I mean, how are you don't know if your friends are still alive. I mean, you don't know what's going on.
No, totally. Totally. No, I'm with you. I am with you.
And I mean, in all honesty too, the podcast, obviously we wouldn't have been able to continue that on if it wasn't for, kind of platforms.
Yeah. No doubt.
And I mean, if anything, it's gotten even bigger now, like, especially since now, like tonight we did the Zoom, live to Facebook and all that. You reach a lot more people, and especially since everyone's kind of in the same boat that you are. I mean, it's awesome to have such a thing to go to be able to continue, something that you like, continue it on.
Yeah, nothing brings success like a captive audience when you're trying to scream into the void like we're doing here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Yeah, so that's why when you ask me, hey, what I've been doing, I just been kind of going with it. You know what I mean? And just trying to talk to as many people and stay in contact with as many people as possible, you know, during the time. So, yeah, just like the Zoom call I was on before this, and Bob hopped on for a second when you guys were on break. I mean, with all the ends, I'm supposed to, you know, one of the things that happened with me is I was supposed to be in Florida all this month. I was in Florida for 2 weeks, and I had to hightail my ass. I had to hightail my ass back, you know, because all my work got canceled. I was going to be there for the NCAA tournament. Bob and I would have met in Tampa.
Yeah.
And I had to get my ass back because I didn't know what was going to happen. I'm like, if they shut the states down, I mean, I guess there's worse places to be quarantined than Miami, but I still need to get.
I'd be all right with being stuck in Miami.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, selfishly, yes, but for me, I'm like, if shit goes down, you know, I'm an only child. I want to be back here where my parents are so I can help them out. They both have conditions that they would be affected. My dad has heart and diabetes, and my mom has Crohn's disease, which is an autoimmune disease. So I got my ass back here. The tournament was canceled, but just before this, we were on with the tournament guys, and just being able to be on a Zoom call and just hang out and have drinks. You know, I never thought I'd be having a social hour on Zoom. It's definitely my first time. You know, so.
Yeah, our boss's boss is sort of implemented a every Friday like happy hour from 4 to 5.
Nice, that's cool.
Where we're all. I mean, I'm on Zoom all day, every day. I mean, between Zoom and Skype, because it depends on who's calling the meeting or who's arranging it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Zoom or Skype literally all day, 8 hours a day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
So to suddenly have your boss go like, yeah, no, show up to this meeting, like bring whatever you want to drink, just hang out. We're not going to talk. There will be no discussion of work. It's going to be anything we want to talk about work, just to relax and decompress. And every Friday, I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And that probably never would have happened had it not been for, you know, what's going on today in the world.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that too, because that's kind of how we came across doing, you know, a video podcast. Was Scott mentioned that his company was kind of doing the same thing, that every Friday they were doing a mandatory happy hour where everyone got on this. They were using Microsoft Teams, but everyone got on this video conference and drank with each other. And so when I brought that up, because he even said, he's like, you guys should use that for the podcast. You know, use Microsoft Teams to do that. And when I brought it up, Bob right away brought up the whole Zoom thing, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And I mean, now, like I said, here we are. You know, we've spent the money to go live on Facebook, or Nick has spent the money to do so. But I mean, it's
like, yeah, I did, but
well, I mean, if we were gonna have to do this next weekend, you know,
right?
Either Bob or I is gonna have to foot the bill, and if it's a weekend after that, then someone else is gonna foot the bill.
I mean, Danielle knows she has Disney Plus. Every story has a hero, so we all understand that.
However, to be fair.
Wait,
hold on.
To be fair.
Crabby, we rehearsed that for an entire night just to get that recording.
I don't know. On my end, it kind of got choppy. Got broken up. But
all right, hey,
what's that? You want to play it again? Okay.
Go again, Bob. I think, it was good. I think at some point it does get just so loud that it doesn't play that well over the audio.
Probably not. Yeah. Anyway, it was Dylan who actually, like, years and years ago, probably 12 years ago, started instituting what he called book club. It was every Thursday night. It was people on his team, people on other teams, people that he knew. He's like, everybody, like, I'm not saying what's happening, but perhaps we might be going to McGillicuddy's, downtown Providence, and reading a book. We're going to read a little Shakespeare that night. If you'd like to join us, it's going to be at 5:30. and everybody would show up, and it was every Thursday they would go there and just start putting them back, and every Thursday, every week. And he inherited that from somebody else and just sort of, got grandfathered into him. And then when he left the company, went on to a different job, he took that same tradition basically wherever he went. And I'm sure he's still doing it today.
Not a bad tradition to have.
No. That was the first place where I heard the pants story. That was the first place where I heard the chicken and porn story. He would just hold court right at the bar. And it was just in his element. He's in his element, Donnie.
He's in his element, Donnie. Well played, sir.
I was thinking
Well
about
played.
you, Jimmy, the other day. Have you seen? Have you seen? There's probably 3 or 4 years ago. The Today Show did like a long form, like an hour-long interview at a restaurant in like a booth, in a big booth with Jeff Bridges, John Goodman, and Steve Buscemi to talk about the anniversary of Big Lebowski.
Oh, dude, that'd be awesome.
I'll send you the link because there's they put it up on YouTube. It's like the uncut version of it where they don't cut in for commercials. They don't cut it for language, but they're all just sort of reminiscing about it. And there's certain parts where I was dying because like someone would say something like the host would say, hey, John Goodman, is there anything that stands out to you? Like, what do people say to you on the street when you're walking down? Do you get reminded of Big Lebowski? And he's like, oh yeah. Well, what do they say? Shut the fuck up, Donnie. Or they'll be like, tell me I'm out of my element. And you're like, you're out of your element. But then someone else would say something like Jeff Bridges would pull something out of his ass, like his memory that he's like, remember we were on the set and this happened. And remember when fucking Turturro licked the ball? We didn't know he was going to do it. And John Goodman just starts dying. He just goes, oh my God, I forgot all about that. It's the best.
The Turturro character is so phenomenal.
Remind me, I'll send you that link.
Oh gosh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, but it's on YouTube. If anybody's interested, I think if you just Google Big Lebowski interview Today Show, you'll find it. Danielle,
Yeah.
how's your White Claws going now?
Good.
How
Yeah.
many?
This
Yeah,
is
well,
2.
2?
2? Hold
I had
on.
3 last night and I was toast.
This girl loves her salsa water. Let me tell you.
Good stuff.
Okay. All right. Any Dr. McGillicuddy's or anything a little bit stronger for the of the shop variety? No?
Here.
Maybe if your boyfriend would think about you when he went to the store, you could have that covered.
Oh, sorry.
Well, she's got Cory over right now, so you got to keep it on a down low.
Yeah.
Me and the Dr. McGillicuddy's. Bob, you said what was you said that was on
Today's Show.
Today's Show?
Yeah, Today's Show Lebowski interview. Are you looking it up?
Yeah. See if I can share it on. Oh yeah, there.
He was on Jimmy Kimmel too. Well, John Goodman was.
John Goodman was. That's the only interview I've really seen with all 3 of them together like that, talking about it. Just specifically talking about that movie and nothing else.
Just made me think about this when you're talking about Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know if you guys. One of the things with this quarantine and with all the people like in Hollywood not being able to do their normal thing, I don't know if you guys have been watching, but some of the like Tonight Show stuff, like Jimmy Fallon stuff that he's doing from home.
That's what I've been telling Cory. I'm like, it's hilarious.
It's the shit, right? I wish they would just.
I love his slide in his house.
Yeah, I want one. Yeah,
I know.
Totally. I
It's
totally
awesome.
want one. And it's been awesome. I mean, it's been so cool. And I watch a lot of that stuff because I'm not up that late usually, so I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, so
Mhm.
I always watch it on YouTube, but just to see those guys being at home, and I saw a cut of Ellen the other day, her being at home and having an interview with.
Yeah.
It's just it's been kind of cool to see like even those folks. I guess it just shows it doesn't matter it's so funny. They talk about the pandemic and the virus, that it doesn't discriminate, like it's affecting everybody the same. And that's kind of it shows that it is. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel is basically, it looks just like this. Like, I mean, like what we're having right here. I mean, they said he's doing the Tonight Show, but it looks like he's on a Schnozzcast. You know what I mean?
And honestly, I think that's why so many people that's why Zoom usage has skyrocketed, because people watch that and they're like, holy shit, I did it with my friends the other day and it looked as good, if not better, than what Jimmy Kimmel's doing.
Right. Yeah. So it's been good. It's been cool.
No, I wanted.
Did you find it?
I found it.
He's trying to figure out how to share it.
I shared it on the live stream.
Why won't it let you?
I thought the live stream was just a reflection of what we're seeing here.
No, and in the comments on the Facebook Live.
Oh, okay.
There, you guys should be good.
Yeah, that's cool. And I'm kind of torn on that. Like, I love being able to let people know, like, here's a link to exactly what we're talking about. Like, that's really cool. But at the same time, I'm worried about that, because I'm like, oh, maybe they'll just leave and they won't be watching us. And they're like, oh, then go watch that for an hour. Fuck the Schnozzcast. I'd rather watch Lebowski Cast.
Dude, I feel like it would be the opposite. I feel like they'd be like, yeah, I'm going to leave and watch this for an hour, but I'm coming back to that shit because that's just the best.
Well, thank you, Crabby.
That's the way I see it.
That's
how I'd be. That's how I'd be. I'm kind of the anti-Joe. I love this fucking thing.
Oh, what happens when the Joe meets the anti-Joe? Where is he, by the way? Has anybody heard from him?
I texted him if you want to join for the second half, and all I got back was
no, that show sucks.
I'm trying. We had some problems at the stores that I had to take care of. So
okay.
Oh, stores? Has he got more than one store?
He's kind of like the fixer.
Hang on.
What?
His parents have 2 stores.
And he's the fixer, so he's like the Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. I solve problems.
Gotcha.
So he ended up selling. He was part owner of the Dearborn Heights store. And when he wanted to go do Dino's, he sold basically his shares and his ownership back to his dad's company. So I don't know currently if he's back at part owner status yet, or if that's something he's trying to work out with his dad's company. But yeah, right now he's taking care of all the.
I'd say the next time he's a guest on the show, before anything gets going, you get all that shit worked out.
That'd probably be solved in a minute production meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Drink.
Yep. Did you send him a text, Cory?
I'm going to right now.
All right. I'm trying to think of if I had any other existential type questions.
How about pick of the week?
Oh, even better, Nick. Thanks for reminding me. How about now that Crabby's on, the gentleman's agreement?
What did I say?
Fucking camera just
Pick of the week.
Oh, okay.
What the hell just happened?
Jimmy, do you remember the movie that you were tasked with watching for Gentleman's Agreement?
Yeah, you know what? During this time, I wasn't going to do it.
For fuck's sake.
No, seriously, I got it on. I know it, don't fuck with cats. And I'm like, dude, this is a shitty time. I don't need to see cats getting suffocated by a bag. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I hate cats, but
you know a little bit about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Dude, I'm a professional, Cory.
A professional cat killer?
Well, at one time, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh.
Well, I'm not gonna lie either. I'm a little disappointed just because Nick's now off the hook, and he wasn't expecting to be off the hook.
Well, listen. There's circumstances, okay. And when I was gonna watch that thing, I'm like, we're in a pandemic and shit really sucks right now. I'm like, I'm not going to watch that. That's not really uplifting during this time.
Do you remember what you gave Nick to watch?
Reservoir Dogs, right?
No, I think it was The Professional.
No, it wasn't The Professional. That wasn't me.
Yeah, Nick Selesky wanted to keep on trying to give The Professional to someone, but we couldn't figure out who was getting what.
I know I gave Danielle hers.
I was gonna say Crabby gave me Scent of a Woman.
Scent of a Woman.
Bob.
You're still off the hook.
Yeah.
Nick Selesky's not here.
No, you're still off the hook. What were you supposed to watch, though?
Listen, hey, hold on. Can we back up for a second? I watched 8 fucking seasons of Letterkenny.
I'm very impressed.
I didn't watch one fucking show. I watched 8 seasons of Letterkenny. 56 fucking episodes.
Every minute of it. You're welcome.
But that's what I'm just saying. So.
No, you're getting all the credit in the world. I just didn't know.
Don't kick me in the bag for not watching.
I know it's kicking you when you're down.
But I still have it in my. You said down. I didn't say down. I said don't kick me in the bag. I'm not down.
Sorry, are you up?
I'm not down. I'm up. I'm fighting, motherfucker. Yeah, I have. I still have it on my calendar because this will tell you how committed I am to the gentleman's agreement. I forwarded it to June because I'm gonna watch this again, but after we're done with all this shit, I'm gonna make sure I watch it. But so
all
Danielle, did you watch A Scent of a Woman?
No, because
no one has watched. No,
because we had talked about me coming and picking it up from you.
Okay, when this is over,
yeah.
I'm gonna have Cory or you text me your address and I'll mail you the disc.
Well, I could probably come to your house after this is all over. You don't live that far.
I would say just leave it in the mailbox.
No, I'll do it right now. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be that way you can watch it during quarantine.
That's true. I'll say put it in your mailbox and I'll come pick it up off your porch.
I'll mail it to you. You don't have to come all the way from Roseville.
It's not that far.
Crabby, you weren't here, but there's potentially a robin that lives outside Danielle's house that might not allow her to get mail for several days.
Oh, no, I heard you talking about it, but I didn't realize it was by the mailbox.
Protecting my porch, it's fine. I'll get mail.
White Claw, I like it. See, the White Claw protects all. Damn good seltzer water.
It is.
Damn good seltzer water.
Well, now they have a new flavor package that came out with 4 new flavors. Well, technically 3 because the one already was out before, but.
I will tell that story forever because that was the funniest. That's a perfect example on why I don't watch the Tiger King or whatever. So yeah, I'm already fighting it. You know what I mean? You guys were witness to it. To me fighting the dumps.
If you're in quarantine, you're out of things to watch. It's there.
Well, it's a brave new world for me. I got all the streaming services now, so I am loaded. I have so much shit to watch, and I dig it. I'm not going to lie.
Don't even know what to do with myself.
I don't even know what to do with myself. It's crazy. Nope. We lost Nick again, but he put himself on mute this time.
Nope, I did that.
Oh, Cory? Again, Cory, impressive.
So Crabby, speaking of once all this is lifted and everything kind of goes back to normal, I was already kind of thinking about the poolside episode for this summer, and Bob had suggested that we invite someone else this time. I just want to know what your thoughts were on that. I said no, we should have the original poolside guest, which is Crabby, but Bob was kind of against it.
Man,
what did I say?
I said, well, when we do the poolside episode, it only makes sense to have Crabby there, but. Bob was like, no, we should mix things up, have a new guest.
And what did I say?
I'm telling you what you're like, oh, no, we need someone new. Can't have old talent on
Come on, Bob.
Episode.
Oh, I didn't say who?
Wow.
I didn't say who he should be replaced with?
No, you just said anyone but Crabby.
I'm pretty sure I didn't say that.
I don't know. As a second member of the podcast, I don't agree with that.
Man,
I don't either. I was all for having Crabby on.
Dude, man, I've made it through this entire quarantine without crying.
I can see a little water in the eyes there, Crabby.
Crabby, don't believe the hype.
Oh, now you're talking. Now you're talking.
Don't believe the hype.
So now you're trying to say
What are your thoughts on the rift now that exists between Flav and Chuck?
Dude, that whole scenario has been the craziest thing ever. So who knows? I can't believe they were together in the first place. You're talking about one of the most intelligent, educated, influential minds ever.
Yeah.
And Flavor Flav. I just could never figure out them together ever. Just always.
They were part of like a corporation pretty much for the last 20 years, where they're just making money.
No, man, but when they first started, that it was not about making money. I mean, they were one of the first. It's about making money now, and those guys are making money, but they were not making money cats in the first time. First time they were dropping knowledge.
Right.
Chuck D was dropping knowledge. I can tell you, there is no one in music that had more influence in me and change of attitude than Public Enemy.
So hang on, can we back this up? Because Danielle even just asked, what are we referring to right now? And I'm even a little out of the loop. I know who you're speaking of, but I don't know what's the current situation of what's going on there.
You got it, Bob?
No, you should get this one.
Yeah, they just broke up. I mean, they basically just had and I haven't dived into it because again, it's during the kind of the pandemic.
Who's they?
Chuck D and Flavor Flav, which is the members of Public Enemy.
Oh, okay.
All right.
They created Public Enemy. So, and most people didn't know shit about that until Flavor Flav was on MTV with Brigitte Nielsen trying to climb the 6'3" blind. You know what I mean?
Stallone's dirty throwaways.
Flavor of Love, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you ever go back to and just listen to the lyrics back in the day, I mean, like "Fight the Power," 911's a joke, "Welcome to the Terror," and shit like that. I mean, lyrical, poetry, lyrics that had meaning behind it. It was when hip hop meant something instead of just talking about $300,000 on my fucking finger and how many chicks I'm banging in the VIP room and pouring.
Right, but so have they still been making music?
They've been performing music. Yeah.
But they haven't actually been releasing anything, or making new albums.
No, because they've been part of a new project that was a combination of Rage Against the Machine. Oh shit! What's old boys from the West Coast? Insane in the Membrane, Cypress Hill.
Cypress. Okay.
Cypress Hill. They formed a big group because a bunch of those pieces had fallen away. So they formed a big group where they were touring and singing all their songs. And like Chuck D would do the Zach De La Rocha piece of Rage Against the Machine. Now they're back together. Rage Against the Machine's back together. But so they were kind of part of that, but they were performing their own songs too. Yeah, and then some Fallout just happened. I haven't dived into it because again, Fallout just happened kind of about the pandemic time. And I'm pretty good about focusing on shit that matters during times and shit that matters. You know what I mean? So again, I got that next to "Don't Fuck with Cats" in June. Look into the I'll look into the Chuck D Flavor Flav spat at that time. But yeah, that sucked. I saw it come across and I was like, damn. But like I said, I can't ever believe they were together ever. So
all right.
Because Chuck D was always the lyricist. He's the one that wrote everything, and then Flavor Flav was just kind of a sideshow. He'd just be like, "Yeah, boy," wearing a big old clock around, wearing his clock.
No way. Flavor Flav is just a sideshow.
I'd always be like, "What the hell?" You know what I mean?
Oh, Jesus.
Uh-oh.
This is his weekend, Bob. Oh my gosh, you lost Bob and Cory at the same time. Nick.
I was like, where'd the
save
hell
us, Nick.
go?
That's it.
You went back into the cartoon wonderland.
He had to fix the rabbit ears on the TV.
Oh, I had to go outside. If I don't let him out, then he's going to start yelping, and that's all we need.
And you could have that whole episode on the bedspread and everything again. That wouldn't be good.
The bedspread.
The shit spread.
Shit spread.
Yeah, my mom listened to that. She listened to that whole piece, and she was like, "Gosh, Your friend Bob, he had a tough time with his dog. Huh? I was like, yeah, it was a bad night for him, Mom. And then I think she shut it off when we started getting you guys started getting into the 2-knuckler, 3-knuckler thing. I think
she
was done.
Grandparents away.
yeah. I mean, she's hip and she's young, but that was a little too much. Yeah.
She probably went back to it after you weren't watching.
I'm certain she didn't. I am certain she did. Yeah.
I can't let Jimmy see this, but those boys are dropping signs. I was agreeing. All the way.
All I know is I walked in and she just said to me, "To be fair."
To be fair. To be fair.
Jesus, I'm making way on this beam, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Cory, what do you got there? You got Fireball going?
Yeah, Bob.
Let me hold on. Let me pour to join you here. Just un momento, por favor. All right, I'm in.
Nick.
I'm in.
Cheers, everyone.
Salud.
Cheers, boys and girls.
It's not time for bed.
What the hell's happening right now?
Seriously.
Ooh. What just happened?
Danielle's telling me it's not time for bed.
My dog thinks it's time to go to bed, so he's looking at me like he needs to go in the bedroom and go to sleep.
Can we get a Beats by Dre on his ears and get him on the show?
Yeah. He wouldn't tolerate it.
Hey, stupid. Come on.
Go lay down.
Listen, dude, I know we're in quarantine, but if you call me stupid again, I will come here and you better be locked and loaded.
Oh, I am.
All right.
Bring it, Crabby.
The dogs are not adjusting to the new schedule that we are now on.
Oh, really?
No.
Have you seen, I don't know if you guys seen that on social media, that picture of that dog that's up on it's in the kitchen and it's like a border collie and it's up on top of the fucking cabinets. And the caption says, "No, we've gone on a walk for 20 fucking times. I'm not going on another one today."
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's so good.
Want to go for another one?
Yeah. No, we've been on a walk 20 fucking times. I'm not going on another one today.
Hey, that's all there is to do.
No, my dogs are liking that part of the quarantine. But they're not enjoying we stay up
White Castle?
Well, because they're on such a schedule with me, and since I haven't been working in a month now, they're like all thrown off because I'm staying up later because he's here and he's up later. So we go to bed later and then we get up later, and they don't mind the getting up later part, but the staying up later part, they're not.
Dogs understand. Dogs have a good judge of character. I know when there's somebody that's influencing you poorly in your life.
You know how you could solve that problem, right?
What?
Cory knows. Tell him to get his ass to bed on time.
Cory knows.
Stop staying up till 6
When I go to bed, they come with me.
Right. So they should also include his dumbass.
I'm not a fucking dog.
Why is he got to be a dumbass?
Hey,
I think I labeled him a genius on this show.
when he goes to sleep.
I'm gonna.
You're gonna
disrespectfully disagree with that.
Yeah. Both you and Nick have disrespectfully disagreed with me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, I'm surprised as you guys are that I said it, but I mean it's true. I think it's true.
Let's say get your ass to bed by 2. That's fair. That's when the bars close.
And the dogs did love the White Castle, FYI.
They had clam strips.
Boom.
Exactly, Bob.
Dude, clam strips are fucking phenomenal.
He thinks I'm crazy. They gave us the bags.
They are phenomenal, but not for a fucking dog, Cory.
The dogs love them.
I'm sure they did,
gave
Danielle.
us the bag, and the first thing I could smell were these clam strips. And he's like, "There's no way you can smell them." I go, "Oh yes, I can. I'm telling you right now, that's all I smell."
I love how they give their dogs clam strips, but then they're surprised when they're so gassy that they can't breathe.
I do not feed the dogs. Cory feeds the dogs.
Well, it
The
doesn't
best
matter
part
who
was
feeds
that
them. They're still getting clam strips, and then they're still gassing up the house. So unless you love the gassy part,
It's just Remy. Remy.
I feel like all of the problems you're describing are all centered around Cory.
Well, they are. They are.
Easily solved.
I know you.
Look, crack the whip a little bit.
again, something that we should talk about after the quarantine, but we should have a serious discussion about that.
But so when
No better time than the present.
Remy is a rescue. I mean, they're both rescues. But Remy, when he was rescued, they found him on the streets of Detroit. Exactly, Bob. And he had a really bad like digestive issue. He just fed him more. He had a really bad like digestion thing that they controlled, but like when his belly's upset, like it affects all of us.
Yeah,
affects all of us.
Stop feeding the dogs clam strips and I'll stop yelling.
I'll tell you what the takeaway is here. I think the takeaway is that, Danielle, you need to start cracking the whip a little bit more around your domicile.
Hold on.
Who's
Reverse it. Around her. What is it?
Domicile.
But whose is it?
Can I hear that in a sentence?
Generally, when I come home from a hard day's work, I like to spend that time at my domicile.
Can I get the country of origin?
Originally UK, adopted.
Oh, that's it. I fucking hate anything British, so let's just edit that.
The language we're speaking, that's where it came from, sir.
I know.
I don't know how far back you want me to go.
I know that's why I laugh when anybody gets pissed off.
It's a derivative of the Sumerian Dominique. Does that help you?
No, I'm finished. As soon as
You lost me at Sumerian.
You lost me at UK. That it was from those.
It's not from you though. It's smaller than like your cup. I know.
Sorry, smaller than your what?
I was thinking the same thing. I was
couch
like,
cushion. There's like a circle on the couch, and he goes, "Oh no, I'm sorry." I go, "I think it's from you. It's not the size of your cup."
the first thing I thought was, man, how can it be that small?
This is Remy.
Remy.
I love the way this is going.
Remy.
Look. Oh, he's gonna knock the camera over.
What's Remy? What kind of dog?
They told me he's a lab shepherd mix, but he's a mutt.
Well, that would be a lab shepherd mix.
Yeah, and then I have Rue, who's a pit mix. But you can't see her because she's too short.
Which would make sense.
Yeah, she's very short in stature. Stop. But now they're both bothering me because Cory's not sitting here.
Oh, no.
Again, that's something that you want to just think about after this quarantine's over.
15-minute production meeting.
That way. Go.
What's our time frame, Bob?
It's got to be. I mean, we started this whole thing. Granted, we had a 15-minute break, but it's now been over. Well, probably getting close to 3 hours.
True.
Oh boy.
So yeah, I'm voting for probably putting an end to the cast. We don't have to end the Zoom session, but end the recording at the Facebook Live and the audio.
Yeah, we can end the live and all that, and then stay on the call.
Did you do a pick of the weekend?
Nick suggested it. We haven't done it. We can close out with that if you want.
That's what I thought would be cool. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I suggested it several times, but it got shot down.
I know, Nick. I'm just trying to back you up. I was trying to do it like the Greek way, like on the down low, like kind of backing my way in through it. You know what I mean? Just kind of bringing it up at the end.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, he's Greek all the way. I'm sure he knows exactly what you're trying to do. Think you want to go first?
That's gangster.
No, you can go ahead, Bob.
I don't have one. You suggested it. I figured you did.
I do have one.
Why don't you go?
My pick of the week is going to be the show Dark on Netflix. It's a Dark.
DARK?
No, there's a silent Q at the beginning.
I'm
Oh,
just
that's
making
why.
sure I understood what you said.
That's why I couldn't find it.
Silent Q. It'll get you every damn time.
Every single time.
Mhm.
Yeah, DARK. Danielle.
I wish we had the. I wish we could do the yeah, exactly. So I said, I wish we could do the little dialogue box up, like what's in Danielle's head right now.
Right. But you would have thought I said like onomatopoeia or something. You know, instead of-
Oh man, that brings me back in the day.
But yeah, so Dark, it's a pretty sweet show. It's, you know, I had recommended The Rain, which was a Dutch show that was dubbed in English. And this is, I had no idea until I started watching it, but it's dubbed in English. It's a German show. And it's kind of like I don't even want to put Stranger Things out there because it's really not, but it kind of goes back and forth between like the 80s and present day, and there's kind of like a thriller aspect to it, but it's a really cool show. I like the way they did it, and I'm just starting to get into it. So if you can deal with English dubbing, you know, watch the first couple episodes. It's definitely really interesting. It's about this couple families in Germany that live by a nuclear power plant, and some kind of strange things start happening, and they end up finding a cave, and you know, I don't want to do any spoilers, so things start going crazy, and you kind of have to figure it out.
Nick, I still have the trailers up that you sent me last night from The Rain and Dark. So
You want to play the Dark trailer?
Yeah, we can do that.
That was so Cory right there. Yeah, we can do that.
He's got to go up and like pull a couple levers and turn some knobs.
Like the
I
Wizard
do.
of Oz. Man behind the curtain.
I thought I had it up.
Pay no attention.
What kind of beer are you drinking, Nick?
It's just my Uncle Ray's go-to Miller Lite.
There you go.
Nothing really podcast worthy, but I felt it was rather fitting since I'm the only one here at Uncle Ray's. So type in your password when I see it.
What the fuck is happening right now?
Cory is sharing his screen to show the trailer of Dark.
There's two people there. They're like inside their personal space at the top of it.
Hey, hang on. This is getting all weird.
You could pause it.
The video's like stuck behind all of your pictures.
We can't hear any audio, by the way, Cory.
But they are connected in a never-ending circle.
Yeah,
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow are not consecutive.
That should be good now.
we could just take the recommendation.
Yeah, I feel anxiety watching Cory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like
It's very stuttery.
Is it? Okay. We'll just take the recommendation then.
Yeah.
good try, Cory.
I don't think we're paying enough per month to be able to show live video like that.
Right.
Yeah, on the webinar it might not be the greatest.
That's like an ultra premium membership.
Yeah, but check it out. It's a good watch so far.
Cool.
All right.
Cory, you got one?
I do. My pick of the week is Detroit City Distillery.
Well played, sir.
They
Good
have
one, Cory.
they have stopped producing alcohol and have been making hand sanitizer.
Which
And
is also alcohol.
Well, yes, it definitely smells like moonshine, but they, I think we got like 3 pallets of it, and in these big gallon jugs. They sent dispensers with it that you screw into the top of the jug as well, and it's helped out big time. And I mean, you could throw a stone from our work to the distillery, so it's kind of cool knowing that they've made something that's helping out that much, and it's only right down the street. And it's guys that are working just as hard as everyone else in these times, and they've done a lot. So once this is all over and they go back to making their normal product, I would definitely say everyone go there and try their product.
For sure.
I'm going to go one further. And he's absolutely right. The best of people really shine through the clouds and the darkness, when something like this happens. And, nobody, to my understanding or knowledge, reached out to Detroit Distilling Company or distillery. But they just, at their own loss, decided to stop production of consumable alcohol. And from my understanding of moonshine, from any of the White Lightning that I've bought, any of the over-the-counter White Lightning that I've bought, has a very corn grain kind of smell to it. And when I saw these pallets, I mean, think of windshield washer fluid bottles and containers with just a makeshift yellow label that says Detroit Distillery. Not for consumption, 65% alcohol by volume. But the interesting thing, like I was telling Cory, is that it's not, it doesn't say isopropanol. So the only thing that they could make that I would assume would be that high proof is moonshine, and it smells exactly like moonshine. So I've been telling all the guys at work, I'm like, yeah, you probably could drink this shit. Yeah, this is probably just moonshine that you can use as a hand sanitizer, because there's no, gelling agents added to it. There's nothing. It's just, you're just got a pump top and you're just splashing your hands with it. But it serves the purpose. And the fact that they did this, on their own dime and have donated that amount is just insane. So I'm going to go one step further. Great pick of the week, Cory, but I feel as a podcast, to show, appreciation and respect after this is over with, we should try and set up a tour or a tasting or something and go there. And
why don't we reach out to them and see if they'd like to come on the podcast?
Yeah, that as well. And say to them, how much we appreciate them and that we were positively affected by their donation,
Well, and that's I did post on my own personal Facebook and the Schnozzcast Facebook a picture of one of the little bottles of sanitizer that they also sent to. So not only do they have the huge jugs, but they also made these little like personal, like you go buy in the store to keep in your car or whatever. And I think the one thing I was so impressed with out of all of it is everything is all professionally labeled. They have each batch number. So like the little bottle that I saw the other day was batch number 5. All the jugs have what batch they came from, what date they were made. So for them to completely switch over from a distilling company of consumable alcohol to basically a company that's making sanitizing products, they did a lot. Like they didn't have to put those labels on everything. They could have just basically said, "Hey, this is hand sanitizer. Use it." And it would have still been a great product, but for them to go so far as to make these special labels just for the sanitizer, like it's awesome. And not only that, like it says on the side, don't throw this bottle away. You can send it back to them and they'll refill it.
Cory, just for the listeners and the viewers, what's the official name? Is it Detroit City Distillery?
Detroit City Distillery.
Okay.
And
okay.
I will share once we end the meeting, since obviously things are running a little slow with doing the live from here.
Sure.
I'll share the actual picture and website on our Facebook page so people can see and go to it. And again, once this is all over, definitely go visit them and give them support. Because they've obviously helped the city out in a huge way during this time. So the least, and like Nick said, the least we could all do is go support them after this is over and try their product. And yeah, if we could sit down and even show them this little clip and say that, hey, we promoted you guys during all this, and we'd like to take a tour of the facility and see what you guys do, outside of that. I think that'd be awesome.
Great pick.
Danielle?
You got one, Danielle?
I have two, if that's okay.
Oh, boy.
Well, the one kind of goes off of, I don't know if I mentioned it last week or the week before, about the Some Good News with John Krasinski. He did a second episode, and I just wanted to mention it because my high school that I went to, their robotics team actually made face shields that they donated to some local hospitals, and he mentioned them on the show.
Wow.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's real cool, yeah.
But the other one, on like a lighter side, Lay's potato chips makes a crispy taco chip that tastes like a taco, like straight up tastes like a taco.
They're
addicting as hell.
They're very, very fucking good. And the second you taste it,
you can't stop eating them.
It's like tasting an actual taco. So however they got that flavoring down.
So I suggest buying a small bag because you want to consume all of it. Because if you get the bigger bag, I don't know if you could stop eating them because they're that good.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Nick, that's up to
I love tacos. So I highly recommend.
I don't think anyone in this room really likes tacos, though.
What?
Yeah, says the guy who ate Taco Bell last night for dinner.
Right.
Well, in all fairness, those aren't tacos, so.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, those are my two picks.
Nice picks, Danielle.
Thank you.
Jimmy, you got one?
Yeah, first I would say I just have a suggestion, too. I think you guys should talk to Detroit Distillery, not only promoting them and taking a tour of the place, I think you guys should do a Schnozzcast from the Detroit Distillery. I think
That'd be really cool.
I mean, you guys are looking at doing that.
If they would allow it and let us, set up in there and all that, yeah, that'd be
the shit.
Phenomenal.
That'd be the shit, yeah. So so I have one that I'm kind of excited about. Actually, I think it just came out yesterday. I watched it today, but Coachella just released on YouTube a documentary on Coachella called 20 Years in the Desert. And
is that on YouTube or Netflix?
YouTube. It's the shit, and it's awesome. And I went there in 2006, so I was pretty geeked. It starts out with how it all started, and I mean, it's real as hell. I mean, they talk about how the guy they talk about the punk scene in LA and the guys that were involved with that and how they got together, and some real early clips on the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Jane's Addiction and Alice in Chains. And that punk conversion into kind of grunge rock, and they go into the Pearl Jam. And I did not know this. I didn't realize that Pearl Jam is really who put them on the map, because Pearl Jam, when they were doing their whole fuck Ticketmaster, and we're not going to do shit with Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
That's how they got with these guys, and that's how they discovered the Indio Polo Grounds, where Coachella is done now, because Pearl Jam did a concert there, because that was the first place that was the closest place they could do to LA. That was a venue that Ticketmaster didn't basically have the rights to on tickets.
Gotcha.
So so it was pretty interesting. And then also, I mean, it was kind of interesting to hear that basically the two-headed monster of this group that basically was getting involved with all this, but it was prior to Coachella that was formed together to do this. When they were struggling for money, he basically formed dealing weed on the side with people, it was almost like a co-op group But the FBI caught up with him. He ended up having to do 7 years in prison. So it's interesting to hear about
That'll
that.
happen. That'll happen.
That bit too. Yeah, it was cool. It was definitely, I would recommend it for anybody that's into that or wanted to see the history of that. And like I said, I was there in 2006. It was fucking awesome. One of the best experiences of my life as far as seeing music. So
Very
Nice.
cool.
Pretty cool.
I will be watching it.
mm-hmm.
Bob, you have one, or we're going to wrap it up, put a bow on it?
I came up with one on Netflix, stand-up special by Tom Segura called Ball Hog. If you haven't seen it, go catch it. But don't do it the way I did it, where I watched Ball Hog, the new special, and then I had to backtrack my way all the way back through the rest of his next Netflix specials. If you like Bert Kreischer, if you like good stand-up, do yourself a favor and just start at the beginning. Do a search for Tom Segura, Segura. Find the oldest special on Netflix and watch them all, and finish up with Ball Hog. Kind of got down into a rabbit hole with Tom Segura, so that's my strong recommendation.
Awesome.
He's got how many specials on Netflix right now?
He's got at least 4.
I was gonna say I know there's a lot of them on there. So
I think it's just 4. I thought it was going to be more than that, but I think it's 4.
So people are gonna have to research, make sure you watch from number 1.
Go back to the oldest. If you do a search for Tom Segura, you'll be able to tell which year. We'll say which year it was put out, and just pick the oldest one and start with that one, or just do a quick Google search on Tom Segura stand-up specials on Netflix, and it'll tell you which order they're in. But
All right.
Ball Hog is the most recent one. Just dropped on Netflix probably within the last 2 weeks.
Okay. Very nice.
So that's my pick. And on that note, I think we're at the end of episode 68. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks everyone who watched, everyone who's listening now and in the future.
Yes.
When we've passed all this virus shit and you're all sitting around touching your face again and hugging your girlfriends and boyfriends, just think of the Schnozzcast.
Check everything out on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, whatever you might prefer to stream a podcast.
Yep. And if you've got any questions, want us to address something, and maybe next time we get Jimmy Pappas on the line, if you've got some deep relationship issues to work through and you want to do a little Ask Jimmy, we'll bring him back on and see if he can work through your problems. Send your emails to Schnozzcast. That's SCHNOZZCAST, Schnozzcast@gmail.com.
All right, everyone.
All right. So for the Schnozzcast, this is Bob saying goodbye. Cory.
Good night.
Danielle.
Good night.
Nick.
Have a good night.
Jimmy.
And thanks for having me on. Good night. Happy Easter.
Good night, everybody.